Kuhn is the fullback with the first and goal. Kuhn gets the ball. Pyle driving his way in for the touchdown. What a great second effort. Here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. Here comes the y'all don't really want it like that. I said so. I keep big bills up in my heart on the dirty like blood. So ain't got no twist in my head, but I'm still dreadful.
Wolf Pack, what's going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of Roto Street, not in a hospital bed this time. Back home and feeling great here for week 3, your Sunday tailgate sit start show. I am so pumped to be back with my man CJay here to get all your lineups perfect. Who needs an appendix anyways? It does not help you predict your fantasy football weekly picks. So here we are. No appendix, but I'm feeling so much better by the day. Before we dive in, I just wanted to thank everybody. So many of you reached out and asked you how I'm doing, checking in on the Wolf, and I am doing better by the day. Feeling great, feeling ready to dominate week 3. How are we doing today, CJay?
We're doing good over here. I went to a wedding on Friday, still feeling it today. Too old for this stuff at this point.
Hangovers are like 4-day affairs now. It's brutal.
Oh, they never end. I'll feel
Especially
it probably
weddings.
like Wednesday or so.
Yeah, exactly. We won't have the real CJay. We're trending in opposite directions. You know, appendix removal, but trending upwards for me. Wedding hangover, just going crashing, plummeting to the earth right now. I know how it feels. I had a wedding last weekend, and that one maybe that's caused everything. Who knows? It was such a blast, but yeah, I know how it goes. Hangovers are brutal these days, but that does not mean we will not get all your questions 100% right, as we always do here on the Fantasy Sunday Tailgate. We have a ton of news to cover. It is a wild week 3. This season has been fast and furious, like right from the start. So we'll get right in. CJay's finishing up his no house advantage picks while I rip through these news. We'll start, of course, as we always do with those Thursday night takeaways. But if you don't mind, we'll pack that thumbs up button. Does mean the world. Get us out to more people. It's so greatly appreciated. So please consider hitting that thumbs up button for the Wolf here, for your man CJay. And, of course, as questions already piled up, I think we have like 25 before the show even started. I love to see how much we continue to grow. It is so greatly appreciated. We will get to all of those after we rip through the takeaways, the Sunday news that you need to know. And there is a lot of it. So we'll be sure to hit it all for you. And then we'll get to all those questions, priorities, of course. Given to the live call-ins, do you have the link posted up there, CJay, the call-in link?
Yeah, I just posted it on YouTube.
Perfect. So the call-in link is up on YouTube. Preference will be given to call-ins and, of course, your super chats that help support, keep the lights on around these places. So thanks again so much for being here, Wolfpack. Let's get on into these takeaways. It's a pretty shitty game. It's one of the only times I fell asleep in the hospital was during this game. So ultimately, that was lovely. For sure. Not a ton of big takeaways. I think a couple of the biggest ones, though, is I was really down on Chubb and Amari Cooper and what I called Jacoby Brissett hell. He's really impressed me in terms of just his game managing ability, just keeping the Browns competitive, converting the third and especially the fourth downs. I heard a stat on the broadcast, like, out of all the active QBs in the NFL, he's the best on 4th and 1 right now, which is just insane for the last 4 years, which is Brissett he's a beast. He's a bull. He gets right up there. You wouldn't expect that, though, but he's really done an impressive job here. I think the coaching staff's doing a really good job, and they've really ridden Chubb. Amari Cooper's emerged as his clear-cut guy. Both guys, I mean, you obviously were starting Chubb. I think we get a lot of questions on Cooper. I'd have a real hard time sitting him at this point. I think he's got to be considered like a nice wide receiver, too, with back-to-back multi-target days, double-digit target days, 100 yards and a score in 2 straight weeks. I really feel great about the guy moving forward, as I do, of course, with Chubb. Really the only early-round running back that's actually panning out is one of the ones we were a little bit lower on, but he's looking great. I hate the fact that Kareem Hunt was my guy for Thursday night. I said that was my prediction. Gets 3 carries on the 1-yard line, doesn't get in. They go to Chubb on the 4th, and he pounds it in. It's like, damn, like my prediction goes from looking solid to obviously – capsizing there. But at the end of the day, Chubb is dominating. Njoku, showed 10 targets, 9 catches, 89 and a score. Like when they use the guy, he always thrives. It just makes you wonder, why is this not a thing? And even after the game, Stefanski's like, yeah, the game plan, depending on the defense we face, the guy's a fucking playmaker. Use the guy. There's so few good tight ends in the league right now. So ultimately, Njoku definitely out there. I mean, you saw him in 50% of leagues right now entering the show today. You probably can't pick him up because he played on Thursday, but somebody that will certainly be in Jimbo's waiver piece, my waiver show on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Also, the last thing is just like Mitch Trubisky, we got to get rid of this motherfucker. It's so bad. It's so painful. He used to be somebody that had a willingness to sling it, and that's why I was kind of excited about him being here. But he is just capsizing this team. You're seeing Pickens make these amazing, ridiculous catches, and Claypool's got some big playability. I mean, Deontay Johnson's remained his target hog self, and he's going to be okay, regardless of who's at QB. But these other weapons are just so capsized, in my opinion, with Trubisky there. We'd love to see what Pickett can do. So let's hope this long week gets Pickett in there. My one other takeaway, Jaylen Warren, looking good. I mean, one of the handcuff supremes at this point, whether you have him now or not, will be in my waiver pickup show for sure. All of his carries go for at least 6 yards. He had a 35-yard gainer, also negated by penalty, but 4 carries, 30 yards, just looks explosive. The only other back to touch the field other than Harris. If something happens to Harris, I imagine he'd be an immediate low-end RB1, high-end RB2, so a guy that should be stashed in all leagues, only about 10% rostered right now. That was a lot of takeaways at once, and I know you're working on your No House Advantage stuff, CJ, but do you think I missed anything? I'm pretty sure I covered all the bases.
Yeah, I think you covered everything.
I'm pretty thorough in my takeaways. So let's continue on with the news, the biggest stuff, and good to see some Collins. David, my man, out there. I'm sure you'll let us know if there's any private the super chats coming in. We got our new mod, the man out there, David Campanella, and also do his Colin, keeping the streak alive. The only reason the streak was broken was because the wolf needed to get his appendix removed. So that's on me, not Campanella here. But Justin Herbert, the biggest news probably of the day, and he doesn't play till the 4:00 slate. So this is a really tricky situation. He is questionable. It's a really fucking weird situation. Rappaport on Friday saying it's all good. He's not out of the woods. And then today it's coming down to whether he wants to inject a shot into his ribs or not. I mean, last time the Chargers medical staff did a rib injection. Taylor almost get murdered. So I think they should play this safe. I think everybody with a brain, I mean, this is their franchise right here. Why against the Jags are we going to go force this guy, Justin Herbert, to go out there? The Chargers staff, it seems like, is encouraging Herbert to take the long view. They have to have some, I guess you can't ultimately tell the guy, you can't play. But man, you really got to imagine they're sitting him. So I'm going into Sunday as if he's sitting. There are a few options if you want to wait it out and you don't want to roster a backup till later. That being Marcus Mariota at 425. He's facing the Seahawks. He's had over 18 fantasy points in back-to-back weeks, 10 carries in back-to-back. I mean, they're using this guy as a rusher. So Mariota at 18% rostered could be your wait till 4 p.m. plan. Me personally, though, I have Herbert in one league. I dropped a bench player for Goff. I'm starting Goff at 1 p.m. That game has the highest over-under.
The exact same thing as you.
You do the perfect. So we're exactly aligned on that. Obviously, trusting Goff is scary. I haven't started in 3 of my 6 leagues today, so that's terrifying. But 4 touchdowns last week. This Lions team just looks really good. The defense looks really bad. That's always a great recipe for good fantasy stats. So I really like that Lions game. CJ, you're disappearing on us over there. But yeah, so if I have an option like that, like Goff is sitting out there 44% rostered, I'm picking him up and playing him, and I'm just not going to deal with the 4 p.m. wait for it headache type of thing. But obviously check your waiver wire. Again, Mariota could be a bridge to 4 p.m. if you really want to wait it out for Herbert, but I'd rather not. And I get the vibes. If they're smart, they will not be playing Justin Herbert. And hopefully you follow that smartness too. Jameis Winston. And even if he plays, it's just a risk. He takes one bad hit. I don't know. Get yourself out of that headache. Just start Goff. He'll be okay. 4 touchdowns last week. I bet you he throws 2 to 3 today. I love just targeting that game in DFS too. Big shootout potential. The only other quarterback to track is Winston. He's questionable. It does seem like he's going to play as something that can't get worse, just pain tolerance, and he always plays through it. So imagine we'll see Winston out there, but who knows how much longer he's going to have a leash here after last week, 3 interceptions. We see a couple picks today. It could be the red rifle coming in at any point there. So I would not be trusting Jameis Winston. I think he's drop bait at this point. Much better served having Goff, Wentz, some of these guys on the roster. In terms of running back news, one thing we're waiting on is Josh Jacobs. Do you know, CJ, do they play at 1 or 4, the Raiders?
Let me see.
You double check that.
They're at 1 o'clock.
Okay, perfect. So we'll keep our eyes peeled. There are a few notes in here, and we'll make note of it. Obviously, in the comments, feel free to let us know if something breaks while we're here. CJ keeps his eyes peeled for that stuff, though. Ultimately, Josh Jacobs, he traveled not with the team on Friday. He had an illness. That makes sense. You don't want to get the rest of the team sick. But he did end up making his way to Nashville on Saturday separately.
He's active.
Officially active. Okay.
Yeah,
So
it just came out.
I was going to say there's optimism that he would play. So I'll need to update my rankings some point at the show. Everybody, I recommended on Friday, everyone stash Zamir White. And at this point, why hold him? Because he would have been one to see like a tryout for. I wouldn't have even recommended playing him if Jacob sat. It'd be more so put him on the bench. Let's see, he gets 15 carries, goes for 100 yards and a score. Okay, maybe he's got a role as the guy this coaching staff handpicked. But Jacobs is in. He had 19 carries last week. Maybe this limits the illness, makes his workload a little bit less. But I don't know if I want to trust him. I mean, Tennessee's a bad defense, but these type of situations where he hasn't practiced in a couple days and he's sick, like is he at his full strength? I don't know. You got better options. Let us know if you're considering Josh Jacobs, because when I re-rank him, I'm going to toss him in right now. Let's see. I might as well do it now before it's just like 300 questions in and I don't even remember to change it. So Josh Jacobs, running backs. I had him before the illness at like running back 20. I felt pretty good about his prospects. But with all this news, I'm adding him in. I'm going to bump Zamir White down. So you don't even have to roster Zamir White at this point. I think you're better served picking up like Jordan Mason, seeing what he does tonight if you were using it as like a stash and see. But let's get Josh Jacobs in here. He is sliding in. So this will give you some context. A big popular pickup of the week was like Raheem Mostert. I feel like that's kind of the range I'm looking. Let's see. Chase Edmonds versus Jacobs. I would say Jacobs is sliding in right below Dameon Pierce. So our running back 31 is Dameon Pierce. Running back 32 is Josh Jacobs for me. So Melvin Gordon, Pollard, just below him. I don't know what to make of Pollard. That's a tricky situation there. I'm bumping now Zamir White down to like, that you don't have to bother playing him or even considering him at this point. But yeah, so that's right where Josh Jacobs is. Dameon Pierce just ahead of him. I actually feel pretty good about Dameon Pierce. I kind of want to bump him up as I think about him. I think this is the week they unload him, but this new news was about Josh Jacobs. So coming in at running back 32, let us know if you have a Jacobs question, but clearly not a guy you must play or anything of that in my opinion. We'll see. No touchdowns, even though he's dominated kind of the carry work share. Other news is a lot of questionable running backs seem like they're good to go. That being Leonard Fournette, cleared, good to go. DeAndre Swift, cleared, good to go. Alvin Kamara, I don't know if he's officially active, but we did get the Shefty blessing last night that he's expected to play. So I imagine we'll have Kamara out there. All those guys should be in your lineup. There's no real question about it. The true game time decision here, it's a 425 game as well, is James Conner. But there was optimism last night, according to Adam Schefter, that he's expected to play, barring a setback pregame. So I think all those guys are good to go. If you did not have a handcuff for Conner, you do have to have a backup plan if you're waiting for him. 8 p.m. tonight could be Jordan Mason. I still think it's the Jeff Wilson show, but they gave Tyrion Davis-Price 14 carries. If you had missed, of course, the boat on Darrell Williams or Eno Benjamin, go to his direct backups first. Darrell Williams being my preference, but check out, of course, you got to keep your mind peeled for James Conner, but right now it seems like he'll be good to go. So all those guys in my top, 15, 20 running backs, again, being Fournette, Kamara, Swift, and James Conner, all of them in your lineups as long as they're active, and it seems like all of them will be. The other big running back news is J.K. Dobbins is going to be playing today, making his season debut against my Patriots. I don't think I play him. I'm intrigued to hear how you handle this situation, CJ. They've been so cautious with him that I can't imagine. It could go one of two ways in that sense, though. They've been so cautious that he's like 100% and he goes right into 15 carries. I don't expect that. And honestly, that's not really how they use their running backs anyways. I think 10 is like the cap. They probably have like.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm definitely sitting him this week.
Sitting him too. Okay, so we're on the same page there. As good as he is, as efficient as he is, I think this is like a get your feet wet, get hit, get back into the action. I've gotten a few DMs about him, a few questions. I'm not playing Dobbins unless you're really desperate. I'd rather have Josh Jacobs. I have Dobbins below Jacobs at running back 40, 41 below, Mostert. Even, I'm bumping McKissick above him just because I don't feel great about it. So he's going to slide into like that, below Nyheim Hines, ahead of Kenneth Gainwell, because Gainwell just a bag of shit type of range. Too many swears on this show. The comments we were getting the other day. Oh, God.
The sweaty man with the swears.
Oh, no. Dontrell Hilliard, the only other running back note, though. But, yeah, I'm not playing Dobbins today. And Hilliard's removed from the Week 3 injury report. So any hopes of, target hog Derrick Henry ever seeing more than 2-3 targets a game can be erased, at least while Hilliard's there. He did have 2 touchdowns his only game out. Not a bad stash. I wouldn't play him, but he's very involved as the pass catcher. only played about 20 to 30% of the snaps, but on the routes he ran, he was targeted about 60% of them. So when he's out there, he gets used. Pretty explosive. Every time he touched the ball, I've always been impressed with this kid. So a guy, if you're dropping Zamir White, pick up Hilliard. Pick up Jordan Mason. Go Hilliard first because they play at 1. If Hilliard looks like jack shit, cut him for Jordan Mason. Of course, in the leagues that allow that type of roster churn. Moving on to wide receiver news. Keenan Allen's questionable, but seems like he's expected to come back. Now, I do wonder if they sit out Herbert and they just kind of punt it. If they're just like, you know what, let's wait it out on Keenan Allen. Another 4 p.m. thing. So does make it sketchy. And now, of course, with this, I haven't even adjusted my receivers for like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen with Chase Daniels. Now I'm feeling a bit sketchier to come to think about it. Like, do I really want to play either of those guys if I have good options around them? Oh, man. Now that's actually something we got to sort out here, CJ. Like, I had Mike Williams at 11. Obviously not going to be in my top 12 without Herbert. But does he go below like Brandon Cooks? Drake London? I mean, probably, right? Like,
yeah, I would think so.
It's like, why couldn't this game be at 1 p.m. or why can't they just be smart and be like, we're not playing Herbert so we could know?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you got to have to sit, some of these great options. This is going to be tricky. But yeah, Mike Williams has to get a bump down. The few times we've seen Chase Daniels play, genius, by the way, the amount of money that guy's made as a backup QB. Like, I think he's played like 1 game in like 8 career years, and he's got millions upon millions getting the bag every year. Yeah. So he's not quite as bad as most of your backup QBs. Like, I'm not gonna go nuts here, overreacting. I'm gonna bump Williams just because we don't know, below Daddy Davis, who's my wide receiver 15. So I'm putting Williams at wide receiver 16. Keenan Allen, with the health, let me just see where I even have him. Anyways, Keenan, I have him sliding in. I mean, he might even be more of like a Chase McDaniels dink and dunk type of guy. So I can't have those guys too far apart. I'm really worried about Scary Terry getting erased against Philadelphia. So I'm bumping Keenan above him. I'm going to go Keenan Allen. Yeah, I mean, if Darius Slade takes out Justin Jefferson, I don't think he's going to have any trouble taking out Terry McLaurin. So I'm bumping Terry down the more I think about it. So I've got Keenan at wide receiver 21. I think he's the type of guy that's nice and friendly, but the big body might be good for Chase Daniels as well. Again, Herbert might play. So it's just all so sketchy. Let us know if you have questions about your Chargers receivers and who, where you want to slide them in, but definitely a situation to continue to monitor there. We got a private chat from our man, David. So the other question people will have is what happens to Everett? That's another good question as well. It's not just the receivers getting impacted. We'll get to tight ends because there's also another thing impacting him as well when we get to tight ends. So we will be talking about Everett. Great question, David, in the private chat, taking advantage of that function. Hunter Renfrow is out. I think Devontae Adams comes back and smashes today. Obviously a disappointing week 2 after a 45% target share or something crazy in week 1. I think he's right back with those Jefferson's Diggs type of production. And on DraftKings, 8,400, he's more expensive than Diggs. So Diggs is going to be significantly more popular. In a vacuum, I probably go Diggs over Devontae Adams. But if you're trying to get a little different on DraftKings today, I think Adams is going to smash. Like, we just saw Diggs put up 3 touchdowns against this Tennessee team. Adams is just as good, if not better, than Diggs as an overall player. And he's got no target competition with no Renfrow. I mean, Waller gets a little bit of a bump here too, but Jacobs dinged up. Like, this is going to be one of those 14 to 20 target days, I think, for Devontae Adams. So I'm all aboard that express. I love it as a nice pivot from the more popular, expensive receivers on DraftKings at low ownership after he busted last week. I think Adams could be a slate breaker today. Michael Gallup, it obviously does hurt Carr a little bit, but as long as you have Adams, you're going to be okay. One guy I did want to make sure to bring up is Gallup. He's probably going to play on Monday Night Football. Now, I don't want to start him, but he's only 35% rostered right now. And I think that's insane. Gallup is a ridiculous talent. Dak's about 2 to 3 weeks away from returning. This guy is going to be a high-end wide receiver, too, for your stretch run. Like, I really believe in Gallup. I believe they need a great number 2 weapon right now. And clearly, they've lacked anything beyond Schultz and CeeDee Lamb. So this guy's going to be a legitimate fantasy starter that's out there in about 70% of leagues right now. Pick him up, stash him for a couple more weeks, be patient with it. I wouldn't start him with Cooper Rush at QB, but this is a guy out there, again, Gallup, in a ton of leagues that 100% should be 80 to 90% rostered at this point. So go check your waiver wires. Check if Gallup was dropped by an impatient owner. Now that he's not in the IR, people cut him for no reason. Go check out for Gallup because I do think down your stretch run, this guy could really be a difference maker at 35% rostered. We'll even get a glimpse of him as early as this week. Jerry Jeudy's a very tricky one. I felt really good about it because he practiced on Friday, seemed like he was trending the right way. But then Schefter tweeted out today, on track to play, but needs to test it out in pregame warmups. And yeah, that seems good. It seems like he's going to play. But at 8 p.m., the night game, you'd have to have a good backup option. Surtain's expected to play as well. Their cornerback. We'll get to defensive injuries in a little bit. But it adds a little bit of sketchiness to it. Now, if you wanted to wait it out for Jeudy, and I think he's worth waiting it out for. His one game we saw him in for a full game. He had a 67-yard touchdown, looked great. The one potential option I would say is on Monday night. Sterling Shepard's still only 20% or below rostered right now. All the Giants receivers, Tony doubtful, Wandale out already. I think Shepard could be a nice bridge if you need a Monday night type of fill-in. If Jeudy suddenly doesn't sit, doesn't play, go check for Shepard. He'd be a potential 10 targets last week, 30% share. He's always been Daniel Jones's boy. So either way, I think Shepard's worth a roster spot, but especially if you're waiting it out for some Sunday night news like Jerry Jeudy, definitely a guy to consider there. Other news at the wide receiver position is the Bucs. Just absolute chaos right now. The one guy we're waiting on is Julio Jones. It seems like at this point, as Schefter tweeted, Gage, Rashad Perriman, they're questionable, but they're expected to play. We know that Godwin's out. We know that Evans is out due to his suspension. So it all comes down now to whether Julio Jones is going to be playing or not. He was tweeted out as questionable. He did practice limited this week, but he practiced limited last week and then ultimately sat as well. So we do not really have a good feel for what's going to happen here. Could be a target hog if he plays. I mean, he's really only contending with Gage and Rashad Perriman. That's a weird game. I saw that. It's like so crazy to see a Rodgers-Brady shootout at I think the over-under was 41.5 that I saw. It's Rodgers and Brady. Clearly not a shootout that they're projecting here. And I doubt it does shoot out, given the state of those two offenses. It's just so wild. That would normally be the headline marquee matchup. You can't miss Rodgers and Brady dueling it out today. And it's just gross. The weapons around him are all so gross. And speaking of that other side of the ball, the Packers situation is not much better. Lazard did get cleared, completely removed from the injury report. I think he's definitely in play. High-end wide receiver 3. Didn't do much his first game, caught a touchdown, but Christian Watson is not expected to play, unlikely, they're saying, even though Randall Cobb is likely to play. Watkins is now on the IR. So we did have Coach Matt LaFleur say Romeo Doubs is going to take on a lot more load this week, only 3,800 on DraftKings. Every time he's gotten a chance, the guy has thrived, this rookie. So I like at least stashing him, only 22% rostered. I do have Gallup higher as a stash option, but if he's not out there and you have some bench space, again, Zamir White, maybe you picked him up and now you have some space that you can cut. Doubs is a great potential option to see how he does with his first real extended run of the season. Other news, there's a lot of this is a kind of, for week 3, this is a very heavy news week. And it's I'm not.
I know when Nat and I were going over on Thursday, there wasn't really much to talk about.
No, seriously, in the last few days, complete anarchy here. Gabe Davis, questionable, expected to play. Our stance on Gabe Davis. He's in, you're playing him like this. I'll always be all in on Daddy. Colts receivers, Pittman's ready to go, as similar to Daddy. Definitely play Pittman, a top 12 guy, in my opinion. I have him sliding in. Where did I have Pittman sliding in here? Pittman. I got to bump him up because I added him to the rankings and I didn't bump him up yet. I'm going to have Pittman slide right into wide receiver 13, just ahead of Christian Kirk, just below T. Higgins and Cortland Sutton, to give you some perspective there on him. Last time out, 15 targets, 30 fantasy points on DraftKings, was an absolute monster. Only 6,900 could be forgotten on DraftKings today. So big fan of him. Really like Pittman right back in the lineups. He's the clear alpha that we were expecting coming into the year. Alec Pierce is also expected to play. And clearly this team needed some weapons. Paris Campbell was an absolute and utter bag of shit last week. Played all the snaps and saw one target and didn't even catch it. So we know that guy's a complete and utter loser. So Alec Pierce may be a stash, but all the other names I've talked about so far, Doubs and of course Gallup, get far higher priority than Alec Pierce, who I do think could have some stretch run upside. Other big wide receiver news that caught me by surprise this morning is Jacoby Myers is not expected to play. This guy, target hog for the Patriots, over 30% share the past couple of weeks. In general, 30% share from Mac Jones. So that's a lot of targets up for grabs. Now, I don't think in redraft you try to figure out how these pieces all end up stacking up because it's just such a weird offense. Such a weird attack. But it is probably going to open up somebody for DFS. We saw this Ravens secondary get absolutely bombed by Tua. And, of course, Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill is a steep and utter, just complete night and day to what the Patriots are rolling out, like Nelson Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne and Devontae Parker. I mean, the worst receiving core in the league. I do think if I was going to trust one in DFS, though, I really like Kendrick Bourne, 3,600. This might be the path to targets. I saw you nod, CJ. You in agreement there with Bourne?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about anyone in this offense, but he's the only one with talent on that team. So
every time he's been out there, he gets used. Like Mac Jones almost makes it a point, like, put this motherfucker on the field, please, because he's out here, he's getting targeted, he's making plays. So maybe this opens up the actual path to targets for Kendrick Bourne. I don't know, but at 3,600, that's the one I would be willing to take a shot on. I would not be surprised to see a spike Bourne week today. If you're desperate for a flex, I guess you could go there. He's out there in every single league you could possibly imagine. But yeah, Bourne to the only other one I consider. Titans, Kyle Phillips is probably not going to play. He listed as doubtful. That means Treylon Burks, already the leading receiver on the Titans, gets just a bit more target security. I think he's due for a breakout. I really like Burks. I think this is a good matchup. The Raiders are a pretty bad secondary, good against the slot, so it depends where they align him. But otherwise, I think Burks is due. He's made some nice plays so far. Clearly, Robert Woods is not back at this point. So, yeah, check that out. Corey Davis was questionable. I do think he was expected to play. He's practice limited on Friday and Thursday. I'd expect him out there. The only reason we note him, not probably because you're playing him despite his touchdown last week, it just opens up that much more security for Garrett Wilson. And I know that's going to be a question we get a lot today, is Garrett Wilson. Do I put him in or do I not? I'd have a hard time sitting him. I really like Garrett Wilson. I think this kid's a stud. I mean, you've seen him firsthand, CJ, for a while as an OSU guy. Mm-hmm. What's your thoughts on Garrett Wilson after these first couple huge weeks?
See, I'm just nervous about when Flacco goes back to the bench. Wilson already said before the season he likes how Flacco throws the ball better, which was hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. The Zach Wilson thing scares me. I don't know if he's going to target him as much.
Yeah, I guess for at least a week though, right? Like, I mean, we still have Flacco this week, so if you're going to use him, this is the time to use Garrett Wilson. The kid's a stud. He's an absolute stud. It's driving Elijah Moore down. If I was playing one or the other this week, it'd be Garrett Wilson for sure. So big fan of Garrett Wilson. If he's paid up a lot to get him, the upside is clearly astronomical. It gives me Justin Jefferson vibes, like lowly used early on. I shouldn't even say lowly used because he got 14 friggin' targets, even though he only played 60% of the snaps. I mean, when he's in, he gets used because he is so damn good. I imagine that work just continues to go up. So I have no hesitation playing Garrett Wilson. I'm trying to see where he slides into my rankings here. It feels a little too low, to be honest. I have him 34. No, I'm bumping him up. Right into so a good one to consider would be Garrett Wilson or Curtis Samuel, like the other waiver wire darling so far this year. What do you think there? Curtis Samuel or Garrett Wilson, CJ?
Hey, two Buckeyes.
Yeah.
I think Garrett Wilson, I would say.
That's tough for me. I mean, the design touches for Samuel, 11, like 12 targets.
I know his usage is insane.
It's insane. I think I have him neck and neck. I do think I'm going to bump up Garrett just because the talent is that much better. And when it's a tie like that, I always like to bet on the talent. Let us know if you have Garrett Wilson questions because it's up in my top 30 receivers for sure this week. Certainly in play. And we've already mentioned that the Giants ruled out. Rondale Moore is ruled out as well. So desperation streamer Greg Dortch could be another guy. Caught a touchdown last week. Tight ends always go quicker. We did cut our bold predictions for the week just because we have so much news to go through. We want to make sure we give you plenty of time for your questions. So we'll hit these tight ends. CJ will give you his house advantage picks for the week, and then we will hit all your questions. But let's rip through these tight ends. Kittle is back, not on the injury report at all. He smashes the Broncos historically. I know that doesn't really matter. It's a new season and whatnot, but if you have Kittle, you're playing him. Like the tight end position is so brutal this year. He's right back into my top 5. You trust Kittle. Yeah, you put him in Sunday night. I think he's going to have a big game. I have him as tight end 5, and I kind of want to just put him to like 2. I don't know why. I just think Kittle walks into like a monster game tonight. So definitely play Kittle. I think he's going to have a beastly game. I'm going to put him at captain tonight on my showdown, I think. But we'll see. Dalton Schultz did not practice. I don't know if that's even worth waiting it out for. Like, who's your option going to be? Daniel Bellinger on – speaking of Buckeye. Is he a Buckeye? No, he's the Buckeye with Jeremy Ruckert went to the Jets.
Ruckert, yeah.
Dalton Schultz, though, not practicing. I would get a plug-in option here. So I'm trying to think of like some decent ones. Logan Thomas is still out there in a ton of leagues. I really like Logan Thomas. The Secondary for the Eagles is very, very good. Great cornerback crew. As we saw Kirk Cousins, he craps himself in primetime, but they also do have a really good secondary there in Philadelphia. But they are very weak to linebackers, giving up the most points last year to the position. And so far this year, picked up right where they left off. Irv Smith having a monster day and should have had a long touchdown as well. So I really, really like Logan Thomas as a potential streamer. As we just mentioned, Irv Smith, another guy that was out there in a lot of leagues entering the week, had a touchdown last week, up to 60% of the snaps last week. They're kind of ramping him back, coming off from injury. I really like both of those guys. We got a question earlier about Gerald Everett. I'd have both of those guys above Gerald Everett with these questions surrounding what's his name? Justin Herbert. What's his name? The best quarterback in the freaking league. I'd rather have Logan Thomas. I'd rather have Irv Smith, who I'm going to bump up. I have him way too low right now for some reason in these rankings. Below Taysom Hill. No, that's stupid. So yeah, those are some potential. Those would be my first two guys to look at if Dalton Schultz is going to miss the game. Other than him, Hayden Hurst is still out there in a bunch of leagues and getting a ton of burn on a good Bengals offense that I think really just unloads a lot of frustration today on this Jets team. So I could see Hayden Hurst being a viable play. And as the last potential option would be Evan Ingram, seeing about a 20% target share, 80% route participation, hasn't scored yet, but caught 91% of his targets so far. That was the big issue with Evan Ingram, obviously, his whole career is those stone hands. He's looking pretty good as well. So I'm bumping down Everett below all of those names, down to tight end 16. A streamer, again, that I have liked, but the other reason to be down on him is Donald Parham might be rejoining the lineup. And, the touchdown equity, once Parham's in there, definitely takes a hit. A big 6'6" beast, red zone monster is Parham. So Everett, as good as he's been, with the questions around Herbert, with the questions around Donald Parham now potentially returning today too. He's questionable, so we don't know if he's going to be back. All that leads me to rather target a guy like Logan Thomas first, Irv Smith second, Evan Ingram third. Those would be my potential replacement plans at tight end. Other than that, let me just see here. Dawson Knox is questionable. Have you gotten any word on him yet, CJ? Is Knox active?
No, I haven't seen anything yet. I'll check it one second.
So we will see. Campanelli also noting in the private chat, thank you, David, that Van Jefferson has been put on the IR. So a guy that some of you might have been waiting for. There's no reason to wait for at this point. Who knows if and when he'll be back and what his role will be. So if you've been stashing him, please use that bench space for some of the other names we've been tossing out there. Texans tight ends. I guess I'll give you one more streamer at tight end if all those guys were gone. So Brevin Jordan's out. Pharaoh Brown is out. The only active tight end of note for the Texans is OJ Howard. He did catch 2 touchdowns in week 1. Not somewhere you want to go, but if all of those guys, a lot of options for you at tight end. So I'm not saying you should play OJ Howard. But again, if Logan Thomas, Irv Smith, Evan Ingram are all gone, then OJ Howard is going to have a path to a lot of snaps today.
Yeah, Knox is playing today.
Knox is playing. Okay, so if Knox is in, I know he's been disappointing, but right in my top 8 tight ends, definitely a guy that I think you have to play. I think the only other tight end question I want to hit on is Kyle Pitts. Where do you stand on Pitts, CJ? I think you and The Truth talked about this a bit on Thursday, and I'm guessing we're going to get some questions on him. What's your take before I give mine?
Yeah, with Pitts, it's that like the tight end position just sucks so much that you just have to continue to start him. Like my point was on Thursday, like who are you going to start over him? You're just going to Hayden Hurst. Like I would never do that. So you just have to keep playing him and hope he figures it out.
Yeah, I'm with you. 100%. If he doesn't this week against a Seattle team that's not been good against tight ends historically these last few years, if he doesn't this week, this pure squeaky wheel, he's kind of complaining. Everyone's complaining to Arthur Smith. If they do not go into this game and schematically put in 8 more targets, like force feed this guy, then I will hit panic. But you've waited out this long. You might be 0-2 because of it. Wait it out one more, in my opinion. Like, you got to at least see how this goes. So, yeah, I'm with you there. He's my tight end 6. The only tight ends I have above him right now are George Kittle at tight end 4, Dallas Goedert at tight end 5, Waller, Andrews, as you guys already can assume and know. But, yeah, those are the only ones. Goddard, Kittle, Waller, Andrews, Kelsey. I would play above Kyle Pitts today. Goddard is a fringe one there too, but he's been so steady that I trust Goddard a bit more, and he's got the ceiling that goes with it. So yeah. All righty. That's all the news that I have on offensive players. A quick wrap-up of some line and defensive notes. Surtain is questionable but expected to play. Xavier Howard was questionable. I think he's playing today, though. Xavier Howard, did you see any news on him yet?
No, I'll check it.
That obviously big for, that game's going to be a shootout anyways. I think Diggs is going to get his. Daddy's going to get his. But Xavier Howard being out just makes it that much easier for Josh Allen. But I think he's expected to play. Shaquille Leonard is out for the Colts. So ultimately, changing his name, he's 0 for 3 in games played right now. We want Darius Leonard back, folks. But makes the Chiefs tight end, resistance that much futile. You obviously were starting Kelsey, but just another guy. Like, I have a hard time getting to Kelsey on DraftKings because he's almost 8K, and that makes it tough for me to get to. He's more expensive than Diggs and things of that nature. But nobody should be shocked if he has 102 and breaks the slate and is at low ownership there. Did you see anything on Howard, CJ, when you looked it up, or no?
No, not yet. Let me see.
Parsons did not practice on Friday, but it seems like he's feeling better. It was an illness. He's got the Monday night time to hold it out, so I imagine he'll play. And as you saw last week, the guy can just single-handedly wreck a game. J.C. Jackson's doubtful for the Chargers, so I really don't hate Trevor Lawrence and so many other streamers I prefer in terms of Goff and Wentz, but I could see the Jags and in particular Kirk, no reason to be too scared to play him. Buffalo is completely destroyed on the defensive front in terms of D-line and secondary. I mean, Dane Jackson, Poyer, Micah Hyde in the secondary all out, Ed Oliver, and Jordan Phillips out on the line. So I think that game, especially when you're talking DFS, what game do you want to stack? Is clearly and cut the clearest one to go after. 50, I think it's 54.5 over under, and I still think that's way too light. For whatever reason, it seems like the ownership projections are saying the Vikings and the Lions should be a better game, or the Cardinals and the Rams. Both great game environments. Both, I also agree, should be good stacking potential. But to me, the no-brainer is the Dolphins and Bills. And I particularly like to attack it on the Dolphins side on DraftKings, 6,100 for Tua compared to 8,200 for Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen will score Tua, but that type of gap, plus where Tua's balls are going, whereas Josh Allen could throw 5 touchdowns, they just might go 1 to the fullback, 2 to 2 random tight ends, and then 1 to Diggs type of thing. Of course, Daddy will get in there too, but still, it's much more predictable where this Dolphins offense is going. But that's definitely, I've built at least one of my lineups 100% on that game to see what happens. And I feel a lot better about Tua now in my top 7 quarterbacks for the week with all these injuries around him. Some big lineman injuries too. Lindsey is going to be out for the Chargers. Just another big blow for them. Bakhtiari is expected back against this game for the Bucs, so maybe a little more time for Rodgers. Still not going there myself. Donovan Smith is doubtful on the other side of that ball versus the Bucs. So tough for Brady, a destroyed line there. Ragnow at center, Frank the Tank is questionable, but seems like he'll make his debut this week. Would be good news for Goff, who already has been thriving. Ronnie Staley is doubtful for the Ravens. Definitely a big loss there. La'el Collins, the bodyguard, that is the worst bodyguard in the league for Joe Burrow. That quote is just so ridiculous. I hope everybody in the league is fucking shitting all over him. I'm your bodyguard now, man. No one's gonna fucking touch you. La'el Collins, Joe Burrow. Now
Burrow's on pace for 100 sacks this year.
He's on pace for the most sacks in NFL history. Just ridiculous. And one of the biggest, I can't believe how much worse this line is than the expectations of them. But he is questionable for the week. Who knows if it even matters how bad he's fucking been. And then Taron Armstead has not been practicing all week. I don't know yet what his status is, but those are just some lineman things to track because it does make a big difference when these linemen are out, especially in terms of defensive guys, team defenses to stream. All righty, Wolfpack. That brings us to our No House Advantage picks of the week. So CJ is going to pull his up now as I tell you a little bit about this app. If you've been a long timer here, you've heard us read about them all September. They're our presenting sponsor for the month of September, and they are phenomenal. A great place to play. CJ was one pick away from a multi-$1,000 win on Thursday night. Nick Chubb. That's on you for betting against Nick Chubb, though. But
I know.
Regardless, so close to winning a few $1,000 on Thursday because No House Advantage is a great place to play. There's tons of overlay, and that's what you want when you're playing DFS. DFS. They're changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Playing pick-up contests versus other people. The shot at winning $250K. And here comes CJ's pick, so you can check those out. You can download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for correct picks, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You can also test your skills versus the house and 20 extra entry if you hit all of your picks. Bet on up to 5 player props, over-unders, or individual player matchups across every major sports league, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, MMA, and NASCAR. Sign up now with promo code RSJ at nohouseadvantage.com or download the app on app stores to get your first deposit matched up to $25. Make sure to check out No House Advantage today. Experience daily fantasy sports redefined, because it's not just how you play, but also where you play. You won't want to miss out on this. So again, check them out as we continue to emphasize. And you can probably see here on CJ's screen share, like there is a ton of availability here. This is his post about his favorite top 4 plays. How much do you get if you get all 4 of your guys right? If you do the one against the house, CJ?
I believe that's 10x.
Yeah. So you hit these ones. I think you went 4 for 4 on Thursday, right? Yep. Was that right? Yeah. So
4 for 4, and then 6 and 1 on my actual plays. Yeah.
Somebody, the Wolfpack, put $50 on it, smooth 500. Love to see it. Take the money, take the free money, Wolfpack. We're giving it to you. And No House Advantage. It also supports your boys if you check them out. Show the power of the pack. But CJ, why don't you go through your top 4 picks for No House Advantage, and then we're on to your questions, Wolfpack.
Yeah, so I'm sticking with Amon-Ra St. Brown this week, over 6.5 receptions. He needs 8 to set the NFL record for most consecutive games with 8 or more receptions. They'll feed him early and often there. And then AJ Brown, I expect him to bounce back. Well, he had 5 receptions last week, but 10 the week before, 5.5 receptions with him. And then I'm targeting on.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I think AJ Brown, another DraftKings pivot, everybody going to Amon, who's 100 cheaper. Everyone going to Diggs, who's only a couple hundred more. I think AJ Brown's going to have a bananas day against the defense that just let Amon-Ra go completely nuts. Like, they are so bad against slot receivers. The Washington football team is. That's been like a 3-year trend right now. Yeah. Didn't mean to interrupt, but like AJ Brown,
like the Cardinals with tight ends.
Exactly. Like unbelievable matchup play there. 100%.
Yeah. And then sticking with Detroit, Goff, this may just be a little biased because I had to start him this week. So I'm good over 1.5 touchdown passes for Goff. And then
4 last week and 2 in the first. I mean, 1.5 is a no-brainer. Easy money, folks.
Exactly. And then I like a Devontae Adams bounce back, also 6.5 receptions.
Oh yeah, unbelievable picks. I think I'm 100% putting like 50 on those 4. I think that's great. I want to come out with $500 today. Love those picks. Check it out again. No House Advantage, either at nohouseadvantage.com or the App Store. A great place to play. And of course, those tournaments. It's under 50. I think it's under 30% filled right now. So you're competing for huge prize pools against a very capped field right now. So get in early before they blow up and these things are filling up completely. All righty, Wolfpack. As always, we usually give bold predictions here at this point, but we're already 40 minutes in because we had so much news to cover. So let us jump straight into the mailbag.
One of my favorites.
I love that. It's such great animation, such great quality here on our broadcast. So we will keep our eyes peeled, as always, preference giving to call-ins and the super chats. I don't see any super chats yet, so we will start right away with our longest running call-in, Mr. David Campanelli. How are you, my man?
Welcome back, Wolf. Hope you're feeling better. But
doing great.
I'm going to say this. Getting to see CJ's face twice in a week just made my life. Like, I can die a happy man now.
It's so beautiful. I agree.
And don't tell my wife that. So, but I kind of got like a 2-part question because your what you do for one is could affect my flex. So it's a full PPR league, and I got to start 2 running backs. I have Connor, as we know, is questionable. AJ Dillon, Zeke, Pierce, Hines, Darrell Williams, and Jeff Wilson. I got to pick 2 of those.
I think it's Connor Dillon, assuming Connor's good to go and he's playing today. I don't think they're not going to play him if he's limited at all. So I'm going Connor Dillon. The next man up would be Jeff Wilson, who gives you that flexibility that you could jump. Connor sits. You toss in a lot of those guys do play in that 4 p.m. window. So that kind of gives you some nice flexibility. I don't think any of the earlier guys I would jam in over any of the ones you listed.
Because so then out of those guys, are you comfortable flexing Mike Thomas, or would you throw in another running back?
I'd rather have Mike Thomas. I mean, wide receiver, 5 or 6 in fantasy so far. The end zone magnet right now for Jameis Winston. I prefer him over probably any of the running backs you listed. Dillon and Connor are close, but then it would come down to like Wilson versus, Mike Thomas. give me MT all day.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. I was just worried with, if Jameis is in too much pain, then what's the red rifle going to do?
I would be a lot more worried if it was Taysom Hill as the backup. I like the fact that they have the red rifle here. And we've seen Mike Thomas get it done even with Taysom Hill. So the guy is good enough. He'll command the targets. He'll get the scores. So yeah, I'm sticking it out with MT. I'm riding that out. And then that gives you that flexibility to, if something does happen to Connor, you have a couple more pivots in your holster there. So yeah.
Thanks, Wolf. I appreciate it. I've dropped everything else in the comment section. So let's keep it going.
You're the man. Keep the streak alive, David. Best of luck today. Let's get
See you guys.
Absolutely. And I'm sure we will be seeing David later tonight. Want to make sure to promote it. Me and the Truth will be back live right around 7:45 tonight. I think we're going to just call it 7:45 now. At first, we were saying like when Red Zone's off the air. But then last week, we had like an overtime game that would have gone to 8 o'clock. We would have like 10 minutes till the kickoff. So we're calling it 7:45 from now on. We do our post-game wrap-up. We'll give you the early look at the waiver wire, all the big stat lines that are standing out that you should check out. So that is tonight at 7:45. I love the recap show. All the emotions are high, and we just the beers have been flowing. Maybe not for me today, sadly, with the appendix shit. But ultimately, we'll be live again 7:45. Me and the Truth to recap this great week 3 of action. Our man Derek, just a regular with the super chat. Derek, it goes very, very noticed. It's so greatly appreciated. Always coming up here with the super chats. So let's hit this, and then we'll get our next Colin, Kevin, sitting over there being very patient with us here. But Derek, just what do you got for us, buddy?
All right, start 2 full PPR: Cooks, Lamb, Hollywood, Daddy Davis, Curtis Samuel, Garrett Wilson, Ayuk. Jeez.
A lot of good options here. You're not making this one easy on us, man. Oh man. My personal favorites here, and pretty risky. I would say the riskiest might be Gabe Davis, just because he is questionable. He's going to play. I still don't bench him. I think this game is just going to go back and forth, blowout, like a shootout style game. So I'm not benching Daddy. I'm going to go Gabe Davis, and then I'm going to go Cooks. I mean, just a safe target share. Not that scary of a matchup today against Chicago. Like that secondary is terrible. So I really like Cooks. I think he's the safest play. And then I'm going Gabe Davis just because I again, love Gabe Davis. I can't get over him. But if you didn't want to go Gabe Davis, let's say that risk is a little too much for you. You're worried about the ankle flaring up or them limiting his snaps. That is a possibility here. So I don't want to go without saying like that there's more risk with him. If I was going to go to a next option here, oh man, like all of these guys are all in the same tier for me. I think I would go to Marquise Brown just because I think that game could go back and forth and be a real shootout. And I kind of like that atmosphere. The safest play is surprisingly maybe Curtis Samuel because you're getting like 12 targets there. But I would go Cooks, Gabe Davis. And then if you didn't want to go Gabe Davis, I'd probably look to Hollywood Brown, even though, literally one spot below him is CeeDee Lamb. 2 spots below him is Garrett Wilson. Like these guys are all so close, Derek. But I'm going Cooks, Gabe Davis, and then Hollywood. What about you, CJay? If you were going to rank,
I'm right there with you. Yeah,
100% line. There's not even any difference.
Yeah, honestly, no difference.
All right. Well, so there you go, Derek. I guess we are fully there for you. So Cooks, Gabe Davis, and then if you didn't feel good enough about Davis, I guess you go for that shootout style with Hollywood Brown and hope he catches a bomb. The thing that sucks about, and we thank you so much for the support. What makes this such a tough question is every single one of these guys has like 25 to 30 point upside. And at least one of the ones we recommend probably won't get it. And at least 1 to 2 of the guys we don't say like will. So it's just Ayuk could catch a 70-yard bomb. Garrett Wilson could continue building on this great rookie season. So this is a really, really hard one. I appreciate the support, Derek. I really hope we get it right for you. Cooks, Gabe Davis, and then Hollywood would be the way we go with it. Man, I would also say try to trade some receivers and get some running back or whatever, because like this is going to be a nightmare for you all year. That blessing is a curse type of situation here with such a great receiver core. But thank you again, Derek, for your support. I know you've done it before with those super chats. It's not unnoticed. It's greatly appreciated. All righty, our next call-in, Mr. Kevin Rice. What do we got for you? Keeping the streak alive. I love to see it.
Yeah, for sure. What's up, boys? So
Sunday.
real quick for No House, I actually downloaded it this morning to try to throw some stuff in. DeAndre Swift's over-under for rushing yards is 46.5. Like, I feel like you have to smack that over. And then if Knox plays, it's 35 yards is the over. Like, I feel like with that being a shootout, you have to hit Knox too. So a couple more add on top of CJ's and maybe make a couple more bucks.
Oh, okay. I like those
those.
ones both, especially the Swift one, because he's had like 240 to 50-yard carries in back-to-back weeks, like just on one carry. So
yeah, he could hit that
like
over in one carry.
Absolutely. Good ones to toss in there. Thank you, sir. What about any other questions for yourself beyond just helping the pack with some other props?
Absolutely. So actually one of those is part of it. So Knox, it looks like he's playing, but I also have Irv Smith. So I'm a little bit questionable on that. And then also when it comes to Mike Williams, without having Herbert, I do have a couple of people that I could also start in his place in Patterson and Jeff Wilson Jr. So I'm not sure if like Herbert's out, is there a chance that I switch to one of those guys?
Oh man, This is a really tough one, Kevin. So starting with the tight end, I continue to roll Knox. I know he's been disappointing, but we all know the 2 touchdown day is coming, and I have no evidence for this, but for some reason I had him last year, and I feel like both games against Miami went pretty well. I might be dead wrong. I could look it up right now. But either way, it just feels like it's coming for Dawson Knox. So I feel good about keeping him in there. The talent of Mike Williams versus like the certainty of I'm actually considering that myself. Like, do I play Elijah Moore and then pivot to Jeff Wilson or things like that? I think I'm just gonna ride it out with Mike and just see what happens. I think he's good enough. And I think Chase is a good enough backup that there's still a good touchdown chance with Mike Williams. You said it was Jeff Wilson and who was it, CPAT? I do like CPAT too, though.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's really tough. Like, CJay, you have any stronger leanings than me? Because that's just a tough situation all around.
No, that's definitely a tough situation. I'm aligned with you there. I know it's boring to keep being aligned with you.
So say I have
we need some more disagreement on this show. The first take brings in the numbers.
I have a big leader, or it's a close game, or I'm down by a lot. Is there one player that you would pivot to?
Good question. Because let's play this hypothetically, because that's the way to look at it, Kevin. I would say if you're down by a lot, you go for Mike. He's probably got the highest ceiling of these guys. Now, if you're like, I just want a steady 10 to 11, I think Jeff Wilson's probably going to get you that. No Gabriel Davis price. He might get 20 carries tonight. Having Jimmy G at the quarterback's actually a benefit to him in the sense that he's not going to get got goal on bullets with once last week actually by Jimmy G. But in general, that it's a higher probability that he's going to score the touchdowns and not Jimmy G at the strike. So I'd say the safest is definitely Jeff Wilson. But if you're down big and you want like a blow up, but do you really have blow up potential if you have Chase Daniels throwing it to you is the question. So in that case, you might go CPAT. I would say, Mike Williams is probably the play, but if you're, really just needing secure points, Jeff Wilson, if you really need a blow up, it's probably CPAT and you go for like the 2 touchdowns against the Seahawks. That's how I'd play this one. Good question.
Awesome. Thank you so much, boys. Appreciate it.
So good stuff, Kevin. Best of luck making the right decision. Feel free to shoot me a message as you get closer to game time.
For sure. Thanks, boys.
Cheers. All righty, guys. Let's now get to the mailbag growing at a rapid, alarming rate here. Love to see it. You guys are the best. Starting with Juan Pena, who got in at 9:30 today to get his questions in. Mr. Pena, love to see it here every week. What do we got for you?
Yeah, so he's in a tough spot. Knox is still questionable, likely to play, but who do I drop to fill in his spot in order to get either Logan Thomas or Conklin? Duvernay, Thielen, Jamal Williams, Garrett Wilson, Mike Carter. Do I just take a hit?
So I would say it looks like you're going to be able to be fine, but Duvernay is definitely the first one I drop. Like, yeah, he scored in back-to-back weeks, but very fluky scores, in my opinion. So I'd rather have Logan Thomas than Duvernay in general. Either way, I'm going Knox today because he is in, and I'm going for that touchdown upside. But I dropped Duvernay for Logan Thomas anyways, just because if Knox continues to be a fucking asshole, then swears on the show. now I'm like very self-conscious about it every time it comes out of maybe I do swear more.
The sweaty swearing man.
Yeah, exactly. The sweaty swearing man. I still rather have Logan Thomas though as a potential replacement to Knox if he does continue to suck. All righty.
And Juan Pena again. Who for my receiver 1 and 2? I got Mike Williams, Dotson, Jerry Jeudy, Thielen, Duvernay, Garrett Wilson.
I would say I'd go Mike and I'd go Mike and Garrett Wilson here.
Yeah.
Thielen though against the Lions is really tough to bench.
Yeah, I'm really nervous about that. I'm benching him for London this week, and I just know it's a 2 touchdown game for Thielen.
I know. I agree. Like, that's tough. I do have Thielen below London as well by a decent amount, but Mike Williams is a really tough situation for me because we've seen him evaporate. It's just a matter like it was Herbert play. Like it's such a tough situation to weigh. I guess you do have some options here in the sense like I might get Thielen in early and hope for a score. What time does Garrett Wilson play? They're probably 1 o'clock, aren't they?
Yeah, I think 1 o'clock. Let me see.
This is a really brutal
Yeah,
one.
1 o'clock.
I would probably go Thielen. It comes down to Thielen versus Wilson. So you got to pick one of those two. Get one of your 1 o'clock guys in. I think I go Thielen over Wilson, but I don't feel great about it. What about you, CJay?
Yeah, like I just said, I'm benching Thielen today. I know he's going to go off.
So trust in CJay's bench being blowing up. Go Thielen. And then, if we can wait that one out for Mike versus Judy. If Herbert's out and Judy's trending the right way, then maybe we pivot to Judy. I would erase Duvernay or Dotson from this conversation. I like Duvernay, the player. I think he's a playmaker, but just a low volume attack. Like it's tough to trust him to continue to do what he's doing. Dotson, similarly, like 5 targets in back-to-back games is not very appealing, but the fact that he's making so many big plays on it, I really love Dotson. The other guys are just a tier above them, in my opinion, but not by much. I mean, Dotson's knocking on the next tier at wide receiver 35, just a few spots below Garrett Wilson at 29. So, yeah, good question. But again, to summarize, I know we talked a lot there, Juan. I'm going to go Thielen and then probably Mike, unless like you're feeling you really want to trend to do Judy there at that point.
Aiden, I'm a little worried about James Conner's workload this week. He's my RB3 right now. I can flex Traylon Burks, Josh Palmer, and Nyheim Hines over him in half PPR. Who should I start over them, if any?
No, I stick with Connor. If they're playing him, I don't think they're going to be limiting him too much. So I'm sticking with Connor. None of those options are good enough to consider over him.
I agree. Juan Pena, who for my flex? Connor, Duvernay, Thielen, Jamal Williams, Garrett Wilson, Mike Carter.
I would go Connor over all those options. Yeah, Garrett Wilson's the only other one. Maybe Garrett Wilson over Connor. What are your thoughts on that, CJay? Wilson versus Connor.
I'd stick with Connor. I mean, like he just said, if he's playing, he's going to play a lot.
Yeah, the run risk is like, does he re-aggravate anything? But yeah, I'm sticking it out with Connor there too.
Sorry if I asked some dumb questions today. I'm off that indica.
Good stuff, Juan Pena. You're off the indica though. Get back on that thing. Let's go. I'm gonna plug my phone in while
Jeff Lee, half PPR, pick a receiver, Burks, Duvernay, or Sterling Shepard, and then pick one running back, Mostert or Jamal Williams. Lastly, do you think Justin Herbert will play? I don't know. That last one, I mean, who knows at this point? It seems like it's a no. But the receivers, I'd probably go Shepard, and then running back, Mostert.
We're aligned 100%. Yep, I agree with both of those calls, CJay.
Frazier McDonald, standard league, need one running back and a flex between J-Rob, Javonte, Dave Montgomery, Garrett Wilson.
Good questions. I really like Montgomery today. I mean, facing Houston, a really bad run D. He just put up 120 against a pretty good Packers defense in general. Leads the NFL in broken tackles. So I'm a big fan of Montgomery. I think in a standard league, I kind of like him over Javonte. You know, the boost to Javonte is the fact that he's seeing a lot of receiving work right now, but they're splitting it up at the goal line. So when in standard league, you need the touchdowns. Mm-hmm. I'm leaning Montgomery out of these guys. What about you?
Yeah, I'm starting him in DraftKings today too. I like Montgomery too.
He's going to be pretty popular, 5,900.
Well, who's your flex too?
Oh yeah, got to pick two of these guys.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I misread it. Standard and one flex. So Montgomery for the running back. I think I go to Javonte at that point. I mean, 49ers, okay defense, pretty good defense, but Robinson's been scoring touchdowns though.
I don't know if I can bench Javonte though.
No, I don't think I can either. I'm going to go Montgomery. And I know Frazier, Javonte's your boy. We've talked about him a bunch. So let's go Montgomery. Let's go Javonte there. Mm-hmm. Generous super chat coming in from our boy Chillard. Thank you so much, Chillard. Much, much appreciated. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the support. Let's get you this one right, baby.
Flex pick, Miles Sanders, Ayuk, or Mooney. And then a future outlook between Mooney, Ayuk. Should you look to trade it?
All righty. That's a good one. I'm not trusting Mooney right now. No fucking way. I mean, he's got, 1 point on the fantasy season right now? The only Bear I'll even consider is David Montgomery right now. So I'm not trusting Mooney. And in terms of the long-term outlook, I don't think this is going to be anything that improves that dramatically. I don't think he's a buy low. If you could sell him for anything, I would. I honestly think he's going to be on waiver wires in most leagues by the end of the year, which sucks because I do like the player. It's just a matter of this offense is, for whatever reason, trying to keep the reins completely on Justin Fields, not see if he's the future of their franchise. It's a hideous offense. I want nothing to do with it. You could have blamed the monsoon in week 1. I don't know what you blame in week 2. Maybe Jair locked him down. So I'd hold him for one more week, but I'm certainly not starting him. If he can't do it against Houston, you cut him. This is a good tryout week for him. But he's not my play here. I think I go Miles Sanders. I know I've been low on Miles Sanders, but I think this Eagles team is just going to continue to smash inferior opponents. And I think the Commanders are a significantly inferior opponent to them, in which case Sanders is going to probably rack up 15, maybe even 20 carries. And we've already seen him find the end zone once, so we know he's not 100% allergic this year. I like Sanders. I do really like Ayuk. I think the big play upside is there. I think him and Jimmy G really found their stride at the end of last year, and I think they'll pick up where they left off. But you got to wonder, do they put Surtain on him and like zone Sutton, or how? I guess no, Surtain's on. Yes, Sutton's on the other team. I don't know why I mentioned him. Debo like kind of move all over backfield. I don't know if they keep up with him. So I go Sanders out of these options, unless you needed the huge play upside of an Ayuk. Because Ayuk does obviously have the bigger ceiling of catching like an 80-yard bomb. So give me Sanders at Washington for me. What about you, CJay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I'm honestly, I have Moody in my
too boring.
I have Moody in my flex right now, and I'm nervous what to do with him. So
you got to have a better option than Mooney.
Brees Hall, maybe. But
yeah, I'm not trusting.
I don't know. I don't trust Dotson yet as target shares.
I'd go Dotson over Mooney.
I know. I don't know what to do.
I want nothing to do with Mooney.
But no, I'm going with Sanders, and then I don't know though. Ayuk, Sanders, coin flip with me. Let's go Ayuk. I'll go Ayuk.
Sanders show. Like, we don't love Sanders,
no,
but
definitely not.
I think the upside's there for Sanders.
Yeah, I feel you.
Pounding him out. But yeah, chill it. If you need like the blow up upside, Ayuk obviously has the highest ceiling of Mooney's ceiling is high too, but like I can't trust him. I'm not going Mooney today. So let us know who you roll, chill it. I know we'll be talking through the Sunday action, but I'm going Miles Sanders. I feel good about 15 carries, 75 yards, a touchdown type of day for Miles here. Gainwell's involvement has been very minimal, so like you got to feel encouraged about that as a Sanders owner. So that's where we're leaning. Another few generous super chats, so we'll hit those. Thank you guys again so much coming out on week 3. It's a tough week 3, so we will do our best. But thank you guys so much for the support. It's greatly appreciated.
Sovicia, full PPR, I think. Receiver Brandon Cooks or Keenan Allen, and then Dalvin Cook, Gibson, CEH, and a flex from those.
Awesome question. I would go Brandon Cooks over Keenan Allen, just given the Herbert questions, given what's the rapport like if Chase Daniels is in instead, given Keenan Allen's own health, what if he doesn't even play? So to me, play it safe. Cooks is just every week 10 targets, and against a bad secondary against Chicago, I think he's in for a good week this week. This could be your nice like 120 and touchdown week for Cooks. So I feel really good about that. So we'll roll with Cooks there. And then after that, I go Dalvin Cook, no doubt. Like I know he's been very disappointing, but come on,
it's a
Lions,
blow up week for Dalvin.
This is absolutely the spot where like you see Dalvin go crazy. So I'm 100% going Dalvin Cook. And then the flex between Keenan, Gibson, and CEH, that's where it gets pretty tough for me. I think I'm going to lean CEH. I mean, 3 touchdowns through 2 weeks. I know he's been getting like quote unquote RB3 usage, but the Colts have been a good matchup for running back so far, given no Darius Leonard or Shaquille Leonard, whatever his name is right now. So I go CEH. I'm a little bit worried about the game flow for Gibson. I'm looking at my rankings. I have Gibson way higher than I should. So I'm bumping him down. This is a good question because like thinking off the gut, my rankings would tell you Gibson. That's not what I have. So I'm going to go Gibson there on the bench and go CEH myself against Indy. What about you, CJay?
Yeah, I'm never a big Gibson guy at all. I mean, CEH also isn't one of our guys either. But between those two, I mean, Cook's a lock. Dalvin Cook is a lock, and Brandon Cooks is both a lock. So
yeah. The thing with Gibson too, like first week looked great, 8 targets. Like, oh, they're finally using him the right way. When they had a negative game script though against the Lions, that's when McKissick really came in, and I expect this to be a negative game script all day for the Commanders. I think Washington's going to get bludgeoned early by Jalen Hurts. This Eagles team is really good. Like this offense is legit. So I think them go down early, and that's never a good thing for Gibson. So I'm a little bit worried about Gibson today. So yeah, definitely give me Dalvin Cook, give me Brandon Cooks, and then CEH slightly. Just one spot in my rankings, but I have him ahead of Gibson there. Thank you so much for the support. It's greatly appreciated. Very generous. $10 super chats today. Thank you guys. And our man Derek just coming in with another one. We got Omar also coming in with a super chat. And then our good friends at Chat Adult 69 are coming in. So I'm going to block them real quick. Yeah, let's get on to the super chat. Another one from Derek. Thank you so much for the support, Derek.
Other league full PPR, pick one of these for the flex. Lockett, AJ Dillon, Dortch, Ayuk, Judy. I had Pollard in my other flex. Had Chubb and Fournette as my running backs.
Love those top 2 running backs. I mean, that is great stuff. I was surprised that Lockett saw, like, I have Lockett on a team and he's been firmly planted on my bench. And I looked today, he had 11 targets and 9 catches last week. And like a pretty good week. I think over 100 yards.
Yeah, I don't even like think of him anymore.
I don't either. And he was significantly better than I expected. So I think he's in consideration here against obviously Atlanta, not a scary matchup. AJ Dillon's tough because I love the player, but this Tampa Bay matchup's tough. And they've been very limiting to running backs on the ground, particularly scoring. They've given up a ton of receptions to running backs, and we've seen him involved as a receiver, but I feel like that's been kind of organic and the dump offs have been there. Maybe that happens, but I think they're going to scheme a ton to Aaron Jones today. I could see this being like the 8 to 10 catch Aaron Jones day, and Dillon kind of takes the back seat. So I think, oh man.
I'm going Dillon, I think.
You going Dillon? See,
yeah.
And also the fact that he has Pollard locked in, I don't know that I agree with. I think if Judy plays, I have Judy above Pollard. And I think I'm going to go Dillon. I think that's the play because he can, again, he's the receiving uptick, but I wouldn't rule out Lockett having himself a nice day. I don't know. That's tough. That's really tough. I'm going to go Dillon. And I'm going to go Judy over Pollard myself. What about you? How do you lock this one up, CJay?
Yeah, why is Pollard locked in?
I don't know. I mean, he had 15 points last week, but like he's sketch, right?
He's so up and down. Dillon, I like Dillon every week. And I don't know. As I said with Lockett, I don't even feel like he's anyone anymore. It's a guy I wouldn't want on my team. But
he's better than you gave him credit for. Trust
me.
He
is. I know he is. But
he's such a good player.
I'm going Dillon, and then if Judy plays, Judy over Pollard.
All right, there we go. So Dillon, again, as good as Lockett was last week, like Geno can implode at any point. In week 1, he had like 4 targets, so it's not like Lockett suddenly this lock in your lineup either. Mm-hmm. So let's go Dillon, and then let's go Judy over Pollard. And if Judy doesn't play, honestly, I think I like Ayuk over Pollard too. I'm not as sold on Pollard as you might be. Now, Derek, if that's your gut call and you love Pollard this week, lock him in. But to me, we're going Dillon 100%. I go Judy, then Ayuk over Pollard myself. But hey, if you trust him, and you go for it. Omar, my man, thank you so much for the super chat. What do we got?
Yo, Wolf and CJay, good to see you off the IR. I need one between Dillon and J-Rob, full PPR.
Feels good to be off the IR, my man. Thank you so much, Omar, for all the support throughout it. I think I'm leaning Dillon still here. Another tricky one, though. Another really tricky one. I have Dillon 19 and Robinson 21. So, they're neck and neck for me. But the fact that Dillon is actually seeing some passing game work, pretty steadily this year, gives him some real upside, in my opinion. And with the receivers banged up, with this game probably going to be ugly, I think both teams just turn to the backs, and it's 20 carries for Fournette, 15 for Dillon, 10 for Jones, 8 catches for Jones, just a running back show, which is kind of nuts to think of an Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady game coming down to the backfields. But that's how I see this game going. So I'm going to go Dillon just very slightly. Robinson's the classic, last week, I hate when people do this. you take away his one 40-yard touchdown and he would have had, but that's the case with it. Like last week, he had 20 carries for like 15 yards if you didn't have that one big touchdown run. And maybe that comes again against the Chargers, but that's a pretty good defense. And this game just could be real ugly, especially if Herbert's not playing. That might help Robinson because the game flow would be better.
Yeah, I was going to say it would probably be an ETN game if Herbert
It's more
plays.
ETN for sure
Yeah.
if Herbert's in. But if he's not, that does help out Robinson too. I'm going Dylan, though. I feel okay with Dylan.
Yeah, me too.
What do you think, CJ?
No, I like Dylan. As I just said last time, he's kind of a lock for me at this point.
All righty. I think that cleans up all the super chats I've seen so far. Checking you out, and David Campanelli confirming. So thank you guys so much for that support. It truly does make such a big difference for us. So it is so greatly appreciated. Thank you once again. And you obviously are more than welcome to continue super chatting if you're out there. Just because it's already noon, I'm gonna toss this out there. It's already noon. We have to both get off at 12:40 because we both have lineup shit going on that we have to double check with all the crazy news this morning. So we're signing off in about 40 minutes. We're gonna hit as many as we can in between now and then. Hopefully we get them all. Of course, we'll do the rapid fire and hopefully get through everything. But guaranteed answers will go to our call-ins and our super chats. So it would be greatly appreciated for sure. So double check that. And thanks again so much for everybody tossing us that support. Let's bring on, is he there? There he is. The dramatic lowering of the camera there. Well played. CJ's number one fan has arrived yet again, and we've got him live. What is going on, Mr. Number One Fan?
What's up, fellas? Wolf, how you feeling?
Doing much better than I was the first couple days this week for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say you look like you lost weight or just an appendix.
Yeah, it was a huge appendix. I've dropped about 20 pounds since losing it. Yes.
Yeah, well, I got the stash going for CJ. Just
I
trying to
love it.
get my panel van game on.
Hell yeah.
But I was gonna ask Chase Edmonds or Ayuk in PBR today for my flex.
Yeah, what do you think about that Miami Shanahan type backfield?
It worries me to the point that I definitely would go Ayuk, I think, today. I feel better with Jimmy G. I know the whole milk dud narrative with Ayuk and Trey Lance was nice for a while, but we know Jimmy G can sling that thing. So I like that he's back there for Ayuk. I think this is a good spot for Ayuk to get his season kind of off the ground. Whereas, like, could Edmonds be the guy? I mean, they should be trailing. He's definitely been the third down guy, 2-minute guy throughout the year. If you look at the snap rates, all that being said, I think this game flows. If they have any chance of keeping up in a track meet versus the Bills, it's Waddle, it's Tyreek. That's probably what this offense is anyways, almost every week, but especially on a week like today. So I'm not trusting Edmonds if I don't have to, and I think Ayuk's a good reason not to. So I'm going to go Ayuk. What are your thoughts, CJ?
Yeah, I can't trust Edmonds yet. I mean, that backfield is just an absolute mess. We need to wait till Mostert gets hurt, and then we'll be good.
There you go. What way were you leaning, Ben, coming into it?
I was thinking Ayuk, but I'm kind of like obsessed with Edmonds, but he keeps failing me.
Yeah, me too.
I'm still obsessed with him. I think long term he'll pan out, but this isn't the right. It's the right spot in the sense that they'll be trailing, and that's when he's in. But I think when they're trailing and he's in, that's when they're just going to go pepper them. Now, the one narrative that I could see impacting that is I do really like McDermott as a coach. I could see him scheming some sort of way that, like, I'm taking away everything deep, and now the middle underneath is like all that's open, and suddenly you get like a 15 target Edmonds day, like something crazy like that. That could happen today. But I think they're going to try, especially with the defense banged up. Like I think Waddle and Hill are the obvious ones. I'm going to go Ayuk. I think Ayuk's got a chance to go deep tonight. I really do.
All right, thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Thanks
CJ,
for the calling.
Good luck.
feel bad about our looks.
Cheers, man. Thanks so much. As always, CJ's number one fan. That was great calling. We left off at, I believe,
Campanelli.
It wasn't Brent Estrella here.
Oh,
I think?
yeah. So do you recommend I start McLaurin versus the Eagles defense that I have, or Keenan Allen if he's banged up? Would you risk it with him?
I actually prefer Keenan Allen. I am worried about. There we go. My charge is being weird here. I am worried about Terry McLaurin getting erased by Darius Slay. They shadowed Jefferson, and he took Jefferson out of the game. Like, Terry's not as good as Jefferson, not even close. So I'm worried, especially when you have all these other weapons you can go to now, that there are going to be some games that McLaurin just does not come off the bus, essentially. And this could be one of those weeks. So I'm much lower. If we were doing higher, lower Hail Mary for the week, I obviously was in the hospital. I wasn't able to do that. But McLaurin would have been my lower. So I'm going to go Keenan. I just think even if Herbert plays, like he's the type of friendly receiver for your quarterback that's just always open. So I'd go Keenan here.
Yeah, there's like way too many mouths to feed in Washington for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not going to Noah Brown either. No way.
No, definitely not.
I know. Yeah, I mean Washington really does have some like nice weapons this year. That's why
I know every time I post a waiver article, it's like 4 Commanders.
Yeah, they're actually legit. Samuel Dotson, Logan Thomas. If you don't have to go to McLaurin, you don't they don't have to force feed him by any means this year. Maybe he beats Slay like once, but I would rather go to Keenan Allen. I would.
Campanelli, full PPR, tight end, pick one of these: Everett, Logan Thomas, Irv Smith.
I'm gonna go. Logan and Irv are like my favorite streamers. I prefer Logan in a vacuum. I really like the matchup against the Eagles.
Yep, I'm with you. Campanelli again, standard running back, pick one of these: Gibson, Dillon, Pollard, Pierce. We kind of had that question earlier. I'm going Dillon.
Yep. You know what? I might have Gibson just ahead of Dillon. I know the game flow argument is real, but we saw Gibson find the end zone last week, and until Robinson's back, I think there's very good upside for a standard league. I think there's a better chance Dillon gets shut out of the end zone than Gibson this week. So I'm going to go Gibson very slightly there. I mean, it's like 18-19, as close as can be.
Campanelli, standard, pick one of these: Schultz, questionable, Irv Smith, Everett, Logan Thomas.
Similar options to that first one. I'm going to keep with Logan Thomas though, baby. I feel good about it.
Kicker. We're always a coup podcast.
Oh, coup. Always. Yeah. All day coup. Huge coup fans.
And Saints or Bengals?
I like the Saints a lot today. I think Baker sucks. So yeah, give me Saints.
Jeremiah Moore, Bateman over Kamara.
That's actually a pretty good one. You'd never think it because Kamara, one of our favorite picks coming into the year. I'm going to give it to our round 2 guy, Kamara, and just hope you had the week off. He's back to closer to full health. I feel good about him. I'm going to go Kamara over Bateman. Just because Belichick, maybe he takes out Bateman. I don't know. That's tough. What are your thoughts on it?
No, definitely Kamara.
Yeah. All righty, cool. And Wolfpack, it's been a while since we begged for it. So good to see you, Anthony DiLorenzo. Fellas, what's up, my man? Good to see you, Chip Duvall. But that thumbs up button would mean the world. And we got 53 of you live with here. That's so awesome, so humbling. Would be so greatly appreciated if you can hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, it would be so appreciated, as well as we approach 2,500 now. The pack has been growing at a fast pace. We love to see it. We go live multiple times a week to answer your questions. So please consider hitting that thumbs up button, and please consider checking out No House Advantage, our presenting sponsor, as well. Guaranteed answers, again, 2 call-ins and super chats. And I can tell, I don't think we're going to get through all these questions today. This is awesome. It's humbling how many of you guys have come in.
Pick up the pace a little bit.
We do, but I mean, when we get super chats, I want to take my time. I want to give them good answers. And you guys have been so generous today. So we've definitely taken our time with some questions. And now we're going to try to get through them all. But if you want a guaranteed answer, super chats, Collins, let's keep going, Wolfpack.
Bulldog, deep league flex, need 1. Hines, Penny, no Brown.
I am going to go. This is gross, but I like Hines. I mean, this is that shootout style game. Like, they're going to probably be down. Hines wasn't used a ton last week, but I think they should realize, like, when he was used, he was really good. So I'm going to go Hines over those guys. What about you, CJay?
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of gross. So,
what are your thoughts on Penny?
Why was so many Noah Brown questions?
He had a really big game last week.
Did,
he was kind of Cooper Rush's boy, but that definitely feels 1 week wonderish to me. I'd be shocked if we see.
Yeah, and Seattle is such a messy backfield that Hines.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All righty, we're on the same page.
Having's my boy is back.
And we're back, baby.
Let's get that done.
Let's do it, indeed.
Oh, it is. I'll tell you that.
The wedding hangovers do hit different, DiLorenzo. That is absolutely the truth.
Yeah. Russell Kaiser, half point PPR. Start 3 of these: Higgins, Sutton, Kirk, Mike Williams. So bench 1.
I am going to bench, I think, Mike out of these. With that Herbert questionable. And Yeah, I'm going to bench Mike. I'm going to bench Mike. Whether or
Kirk
not
is
overplayed.
Kirk is a stud. He's an every week start.
They
might be worth all that money.
Absolutely. I mean, we joked about it so much coming into the year. He's been great. But yeah, I'm gonna go the first three, Russell. I'm gonna bench Mike Williams there. Much more risk than any of the other guys on that list.
Roy rides a bike. Wolf will be feeling better.
Thank you, Roy rides a bike. I don't know if I recognize that name, but I'm glad to see you. Absolute guru. I'll take the praise. Doing well. Thank you for following along, Roy. Greatly appreciated your support.
Jason Manoa, Daddy Davis, or Curtis Samuel?
That's a really good one, honestly. Like I'm gonna go Daddy because it's just Daddy. In the one time we saw him out there, he made the Daddy type plays. Curtis Samuel definitely has the higher floor. Like I can't argue against that. He has a higher floor than honestly most receivers in the league right now, which is so crazy. But 11, 12 target games, multiple carries every game. I like Curtis, but just because I love Davis so much, I'm gonna go Curtis Samuel. By the way, Taysom Hill ruled out. So if you were planning on a tight end streamer there, you might have to find other plans. But yeah, Taysom Hill ruled out.
Adrian, Burrow or Cousins?
I'm gonna go Burrow.
I love Cousins this week.
I love them both. I'm gonna go Burrow there though. I think against the Jets, he just goes bananas, and this team just has a kind of like get right game.
Angel, J.K. Hoblin or Tony Pollard?
Love the nickname there. I'm gonna go Pollard there. I know we talked about him being a sketchy play, but I think Hoblin's even more sketchy because he's hobbling and because of the workload is probably going to be questionable today.
First there, like and share Wolfpack. Okay, Anthony Fellow and I at it for another year.
I love it. I love that rivalry. The two of our favorite guys almost always make the championship in their leagues, and it's like the best. I fucking love them.
We made a trade in our big league, CMC, Debo, and Kelsey for Andrews and Jefferson. What's your opinion?
I'll take the Debo, CMC, Kelsey side. I don't know which one you guys are on, but that's 3 studs for 2 studs. Like, yeah. Jefferson might be the best player in that deal, probably is. But, I mean, you're getting loaded, and Debo goes up in that much more value with Jimmy G at quarterback. Yeah, give me CMC for life. CMC, Debo, and Kelsey. I was reading the end of your comment, like, Brody and stuff. I love that. Wolf, go motherfucking Wolfpack fans for life. Yeah, swearing too much, sweaty man. Hell yeah. Go Wolfpack motherfucking fans for life. Let's go, baby, Austin. I take the CMC, Debo, and Kelsey side there 100% though.
Eric Smith, Zeke, Dylan, or Pierce?
Dylan. I'm going to go Dylan there. I don't trust Zeke. I really don't trust Zeke at all right now. I think Pierce could break out this week, but yeah, I like Dylan.
Jason again, Thielen or McLaurin? I'm going Thielen there.
I do go Thielen, and I don't know that my rankings reflect that. So as I get ready to do one more publishing of my rankings, I'm going to go Thielen. Yeah.
Russell Kaiser, half PPR, Javonte, or Lenny?
I'm going to go Lenny, honestly. I mean, 80% or more snaps in every single week so far. Obviously, Javonte's the better talent, but like,
I love Lenny. I love Lenny this week, and they have no one to throw to. So
yeah,
it's a
exactly.
big game for Lenny too.
So yeah, give me. I'm going regular season Lenny there. Absolutely.
What's the word in Justin Herbert?
Still nothing new other than going to come down to the wire. Might get a shot. If I'm guessing, he's sitting in our take on the situation. I know I've seen a few more questions in the mailbag about him. I would go anything. If you have Goff, go him at 1. Avoid the headache. Best backup plan, in my opinion, is Mariota playing at 4 p.m. today. If you do want to wait it out, but give me like Goff at 1 all day.
Mm-hmm. Roy rides a bike. His gut is telling him to start Devonta Smith over Gabe. Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think you're crazy. Number 2 in the Eagles, obviously an explosive attack, but more so for running and passing. Whereas number 2 in the Josh Allen, just bombing it all over the place. I'm going Gabe. Yeah.
Ryan Hemmings, pick one of Pierce, Samuel, Harris, Stevenson, full PPR. And also put in the order of Alberto.
I'm going Curtis Samuel there though. I'm
not trusting the Patriots running backs. You don't know who it's going to be. And then place in order Albert O, Osborne, Landry, Hilliard.
It's Keenan Allen, even if Herbert's out. Like, it's definitely Keenan Allen. All those other options are hideous. Landry would be my next one up. But, yeah, give me Samuel. Give me Allen. Damian Harris and Stevenson, I am intrigued, that, especially with Myers out, like how much more work the running backs get today. But that offense is one, other than Myers, is one I really can't trust anybody in. So without Myers, it's like, let's see what happens. But I like Samuel, very, very bankable. And I like Keenan Allen there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Daniel Howland, London, or Davis. That's kind of similar to mine, too.
That is tough. London is certainly safer. Davis has the higher ceiling. Gun to my head, I probably actually go Drake London here, though. He just looks so good. I know. I just feel really good about London. And I heard a thing about, like, what if, the ankle flares up, and Davis has had ankle issues, like 3 different ankle injuries in his history. So I don't know that it's worth – I don't think the gap in, like, their ceilings is that big. It's certainly not enough to take the upside. So I know I have to check my rankings here. I'm going to bump down the daddy just a couple spots. I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it to myself. Gabe Davis. I'm going Gabe Davis. We love him. We're a Gabe Davis show. We're going Gabe Davis. I was close, but I couldn't do it.
Giuseppe, happy Sunday. Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, or Carson Wentz?
I go Carr there. I don't wait it out for Herbert in that sense. And I prefer Carr just slightly to Wentz today.
Fatty Mateo, full PPR, needs ceiling plays, receiver and a flex. Sit 2 of these. Wilson, DK, Dylan, Lazard.
Going Wilson at 2, and I'm going to go – if you need the ceiling, it is DK. He's got the higher ceiling than anybody, but I don't trust anybody in that offense really. So I'm going to go Wilson and Dylan. What about you?
Yeah, I still – Seattle just – I can't do it with their quarterback situation. Then Lazard's kind of a bum. So
do you mind if I'm pulling up the questions for a sec, CJ? I'm just trying to get the rankings update run through here.
Yep. Giuseppe's asking, pick 2 of these running back and a flex. Connor, if he plays, Jeff Wilson, Dylan, Singletary, or Henderson. So pick 2 of these.
I like Connor, and I think I like Jeff Wilson a little bit more than Dylan today. I don't know that my rankings reflect that right now.
I'm going Connor Dylan.
You're going Connor Dylan? I'm going to go Connor Wilson. I think Wilson has like 20 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown tonight. And maybe Dylan matches that.
Not 90 yards.
Nope, 89. Exactly. On the dot.
Apex, need one of these for my flex. Pollard, Elijah Moore, Darrell Henderson.
I'm going to go Darrell. I'm going to go Darrell Henderson there. He's been a nice source of volume so far.
Lawrence Franklin, what's up, Wolf? I need a flex. Garrett Wilson, Samuel, Judy, Kamara, Pierce. He doesn't.
I'm gonna go Kamara,
it seems like he doesn't want to go Kamara, but I'm gonna say Kamara.
I'm trusting Kamara there. Like, it's got to be Kamara. Let's do it.
Giuseppe, Denver D, Chicago D, Atlanta D, KC D.
I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Chicago here. Facing Houston, definitely turnover potential there. I actually kind of like Atlanta's as an opportunistic defense that's been scoring a lot. But I'm going to go Chicago of these options.
Yeah, Atlanta's been sneaky good for some reason.
I think they're the number 6 defense on the year.
They have a pretty good secondary too. I think I go Atlanta.
Yeah.
Sky Murphy, the Wolf is playing through an injury like a champ.
Hey, through the guidance of somebody else who suffered this injury, that's really helping me here, Sky.
Giuseppe, Garrett Wilson or Brendan Cooks?
I'm going to go Brandon Cooks there. Yeah, I'm going to go Brandon Cooks.
Pex, Ayuk, Gage, Traylon Burks.
I'm just adjusting my rankings. I'm bumping Dylan down a bit. I had him at 19, and I don't know that I feel great about him. So I love doing the show because it makes me really think about my rankings here. Yeah, I'm bumping Wilson up, and I'm bumping Dylan down a little bit. Let's see how that goes. I want my answers to reflect my rankings to reflect my answers here. So running that update here. I'm going to go. Gage does really intrigue me with all these other receivers out, but he didn't do much last week in that situation. So give me Ayuk here. I'm going to go. I think today's one of those days we're just going to go for Ayuk with a lot of these answers. What about you?
Yeah. I can't trust Burks yet, and Gage is kind of the same way. It seems like him and Brady aren't on the same page yet. I'm going
Ayuk. Yeah.
Tunes, how is your ad? Appendectomy surgery.
It was great. It's nice to have one that's actually, more than a few inches here. It's great.
Tristan Rollison, Tua versus depleted Bills D or Burrow versus Jets?
I've gotten that one a few times. I think Burrow's safe. Like, this is the classic, and I don't want it to come off like a non-answer. Tua's the one that has like 35 points, win on DraftKings. Like, if I'm going one on DraftKings, it's Tua. And if you're a big underdog, I'm going Tua. I think Burrow's like locked in 20 points today. I think that's nice and safe. And so most cases, I'm going to go Burrow. But if you're an underdog or you just want to chase that ceiling, that game could just go completely bananas. I do think people are underselling just how good like McDermott is as a coach, though. I think there is a chance that Tua could be like, McDermott might have a plan that slows this down a little bit. But I think that's like a 40% chance. I think it's a 60% chance Tua like goes nuts. So
yeah, I like Burrow there.
You're going to go Burrow too? Yeah, so Burrow seems better, safer for me, unless you're a big underdog. But I do there's a big chance Tua just goes completely crazy today again.
Bengals are a great survivor pick too.
Yeah.
BB Bogard. Good morning, guys. Lost Lance last week. Need to pick up a QB off the waivers. Jimmy G, Mariota, Gino, or Tannehill. Never Tannehill.
Damn. No Goff gone. I'm starting Mariota this week. Of those guys, the rushing upside's real. Seattle, not a bad matchup at all. Jimmy G might have like the best long-term like security there, but you're going to be streaming the rest of the year, it seems like. So go for Mariota until that one fizzles out, and then maybe you're going Desmond Ridder after. You're probably going Atlanta the rest of the year. Scary.
Giuseppe Russo, Flex, PPR, A-Rob, Stevenson, Ayuk, or Henderson, Sterling Shepard.
1 sec. I'm just hitting update here. My rankings update that is up. So just as a reminder, guys, the updated rankings are always going to be at roaststreetjournal.com. We breed and feed you fancy wolves, or in the app, so you can check them out there. I just ran another update as we were live here to reflect all my answers and all the latest news we've had coming in. So let me get back to this question, though. A-Rob, I like A-Rob a lot today. I think, that Arizona secondary is so abysmal, and they do have one good shadow that they'll probably put on Cup. They won't be able to take him out completely. I think A-Rob has maybe 2 touchdowns today, though. I really feel good about A-Rob. What about you?
Yeah, I think I'd say between him and Ayuk, I'm going Ayuk over A-Rob.
All righty.
Tunes, Bateman, Dotson, Judy, Noah Brown, Dillon, Stevenson, Dobbins, Kenneth Walker. Need a receiver 3 and
Tunes, you're a veteran, and you always do this. You put like 18 different friggin' options. You've limited in your own head to like 3. Come on, Tunes, be better.
He does need 3
of one of our
these.
boys here, but come on, Tunes. Like Kenneth Walker, you're actually thinking about. Kenneth Walker's the answer, Tunes. Start him. Like, come on. There's some people on here you're not even fucking thinking about. I'm gonna go Bateman and 2. You guys try, dudes. Come on. I'm gonna go Bateman, and I'm gonna go Judy, and I'm gonna go Dillon. What about you, CJ?
Yeah, sure.
Too many options.
Yeah, I'm already on to the next question.
Right.
Charlie Menelakis, can't believe I'm asking this, but Drake London, A-Rob, or Zeke? Drake.
I like Drake London. I just talked about how how much I like A-Rob, but that just goes to show how much I like Drake. I'm gonna go Drake. What about you?
I like Drake there.
Right.
Marcos Valdez Scantling, half PPR, Mike Thomas or Gabe Davis.
I'm gonna go Thomas. I very rarely don't say Davis, but I'm gonna go Thomas here. What about you?
I'm going with Daddy. Daddy over my Buckeye.
Daddy.
Tunes, CD, or Hollywood and Flex?
I have him literally 25, 26.
Hollywood.
I'm going to go Hollywood there too. CJ, it's at the point. So I do got to sign off in about 20 minutes, and we got a shitload of questions. I think I'm just going to rapid fire these. So if you do want an in-depth answer, you want, something more than just a quick name, Super Chat will be your way to get it. We are a whore for money, and we will take it. But if you just want your quick answer, I'm going to try to rapid fire through as many of these as I can. In about 15, 20 minutes, we have to sign off to get our own lineup needs taken care of, though. So you want an answer. Super Chat's the really only guaranteed way to get it, but let us go further here. Eli Moore or Devonta, I'm going to go Eli Moore. Have Pitts in all leagues. You got to keep playing him over all of those guys. Tunes. James Robinson or Lamb, I'm going to go J-Rob. Terry McLaurin, Keenan. No, I'm going to go Keenan Allen there, Brent. Don't double ask your questions, please. Half PPR. One running back in a flex. Swift, Wilson, Dillon, David. I don't know who G. David. It must be G. Davis for Sarah Riley. Higgins, M. Brown. You need one running back in a flex. I love T. Higgins, and I love Swift here. So that's where I'm rolling. But, man, those are some great friggin' options, Sarah, as it always is. Shepard or Henderson, full PPR. I'm going to go Henderson there, R. Brown. Higbee or Everett, I'm going to go Higbee. And don't give up on Kittle. No, play Kittle 100%. If you can trade him for Kirk, that's not a horrible move, but I'm playing Kittle 100% today. Full PPR, London, Garrett Wilson, CD. I'm going to go Drake London. For flex, Patterson, Carter, or Lockett, Patterson. I'm going to go Mike Williams over Lamb Jair. Please curse more. Thanks, Wolf. I love it, Fatty Mateo. Holding in curses is how you guys burst our appendix. Comment of the day so far. I love that one, Fatty. Good shit. Currently, good fucking shit. Curse more. David Repko. Currently have the Bills defense. With all those injuries, yeah, I get it. But with those options as your guys, I think you just roll the Bills and hope they have an opportunistic touchdown. Giuseppe, Keenan Allen, Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is the best option here. Drake London's the next one, though. Juju or Jahan Dotson. I'm going to go Juju very slightly, though. There are two spots within each other, Evan. Flex, Etienne, Carter. I'm actually going to go Dotson for the flex then. So Juju and Dotson, start them both. Flex PPR, David Monty. David Monty over these guys. Drake London. I'm going to go David Monty, though. I think he's going to smash Houston today. Full PPR, start one. T. Higgins, Drake London, James Conner, Garrett Wilson. T. Higgins. Drake London's the next one up, though. Should I start Herbert if he plays? I really wouldn't risk that one today. I would go like Jared Goff. I'm going over him, believe the hype. Decided I'm going Patterson over Gibson. Good luck, man, Matthew. I know you're talking about that in the DMs. I hope it works out. Pick 2 full PPR. Sutton, Higgins, Gabe Davis. And I like this. Correction, Daddy Davis underneath it. I'm going to go Sutton and T. Higgins, though, over the daddy. Jeff Wilson or Lockett. I'm going to go Jeff Wilson, Austin Forrester. And I'm not going to go Higbee over those guys. No. What up, buddy? Been a minute, Chris. Good to see you, Chris. It has been a minute. Welcome back to the stream. Hopefully all is well. You missed some appendix action where I had an appendix taken out this week, Chris. Pick 2, full PPR. Cooks, Lamb, Hollywood Brown, Gabe Davis, Ayuk. Oh, Derek Jess, we did this as the super chat. Thank you again so much for back-to-back super chats. And just as a reminder, we ended up going Cooks and Daddy Davis with Hollywood Brown as the next man up if you didn't want to go Daddy. Drake London, a good flex play. Yeah, absolutely. I would go him over Etienne 100%. I think Drake London's a beast. Half PPR, need 2 of Breece Hall, Patterson, Dotson, London. London's my lock. Patterson would be my next man up, but it's close between him and Dotson. Hall or Chase Edmonds, I'm going to go Hall. I don't love either, though, Apex. J.K. Dobbins or Naeem Hines. I'm going Hines. I don't trust Dobbins his first week back. Gordon or Traylon Burks, flex 2 flex, full PPR. I kind of go full PPR. I'm going to trust Traylon Burks there. PPR, flex Carter or Bateman. I'm going to go Bateman there. Welcome back, Wolf. Thank you, Billy Jagir. Thanks for smacking me around last week in the Family League, too. Oh, brutal. Ayuk, Dotson, Chase Edmonds. I'm going to bench Edmonds there of those. Report from Jeremiah Moore. All right. Why do you need to call in? We always get Jeremiah Moore on the call-in. Should I trade Dillon for Hollywood and Breece? I don't hate that, actually. It depends on your team needs. Hollywood is about to take a big hit, though, with Hopkins coming back. So I think Breece is going to trend the right way by the end of the year. Unless you have a big need for a receiver, I hold there, though, Ryan. I probably can't do many more trade questions, by the way, for rapid fire. Wilson or Ayuk? I'm going to go Jeff Wilson, Derek Bach. Drafted Garrett Wilson and a keeper. That's pretty damn sexy, DJ Johnson. Gabe Davis or Drake London? Daddy. Very, very close, though, Austin. They're within one spot in my rankings. London is safer if you want to go for safety. But I'm going to go Gabe for that ceiling. What do you think about Devonta Smith? I mean, I'm encouraged by Monday Night Football. Much better week for him. Herbert owner. Do I roll out Tua against the Bills' injured defense or wait for Lawrence or Garoppolo? I'm going to go Tua over either of those guys 100%. Nick DeCilius. I think he's playing 100%. Yeah, he's in. He's active. Well, the Bills' injuries on defense. Apex, I would go fucking defensive question. They all fucking suck. Go Bills. Drake London in my flex. I feel good about it over ETN. Don't repeat, Chris. You know better than that. Juju or Dobbins, definitely Juju. Anthony Nadella, welcome to the show. Palmer, Burks, or Dortch. Oh, God. I think I'm going to go Traylon Burks there with no Kyle Phillips. I really think this could be his coming out party there. Lockett, Ayuk, or Cooks. Definitely Cooks for me there on that one. Nardog, indeed, Chillard. We got the Beverly boys coming in. Zeke or Damian Harris. Still very disappointed Dandy hasn't called in yet. I'm going to go Damian Harris there. I think this offense goes through the backs. Need some help. Everett or Irv Smith. I'm going to go Irv there. Worry about the quarterback situation. Yeah, I'm with you, leaning Irv. I'm definitely with you. Burks or Boyd or Etienne. I'm going to go Etienne there. I don't love any of them. Fabian. Thank you again, Derek, just for that super chat. Happy PR for DJ Johnson. James Robinson or Jeff Wilson Jr. I'm going to go Jeff Wilson, but they are literally 1-2 in my rankings, like right next to each other. Devonta Smith or Sterling? I'm going to go Devonta very closely, Fiend Storm. Michael Carter, Burks, or Chance waiting for Keenan in the flex. I'd wait for Keenan there. I think it's absolutely worth it. Alvin Kamara, Gibson, CEH. Like if you don't get Keenan, then Sterling Shepard's not far off from either of those other guys, DJ. Kamara, Gibson, CEH. Going Kamara very close with him in CEH, though. Start one at flex PPR. Zeke Pollard, Drake London, or Judy. Drake London, for sure. My favorite of those guys. Quick water. Wilson or D. Pierce? Wilson for me. Flex, who would you start? Thielen, Lockett, E. Moore? Thielen for sure. Of all those guys. I think he has 2 touchdowns today. One running back, run flex for Mike Clay. Not Zeke. Actually, your options kind of suck here. I guess I am going Zeke for the running back, and I'm going to go Ayuk for the flex. Morning, Denny. Great to see you, brother. 3-0 start. Love to see it. Wentz just threw it in against your Birds. I love it. Starting Connor if he goes. Yep, I am. Dortch or Dotson? Dotson for me, Mike Clay. Hernandez. Good morning. Thielen or Jeff Wilson or Garrett Wilson or Samuels? I'm going to go Thielen. Thielen very slightly. Very, very slightly. All great options, all within the same neck of each other. Thank you again, Chiller, Derek, Just, Savici, and Omar F. for your super chats. We are so greatly appreciative of your support today. Hey, fellas. Justin Reese, what's going on? Need my flex? Do I go Darrell Henderson? I'd go the second Darrell Henderson, actually. Darrell Henderson, Irv Smith, Goddard, or A.J. Dillon. I'm going to go A.J. Dillon there. You definitely go Goddard over Irv Smith. There's a tight end question there, though. Kal-El, appreciate Curtis Samuel, Patterson. I'm going to go Curtis Samuel there. Running back 2 in a flex. Dobbins, Dobbins, Stevenson, Penny, Shepard. I'm going to go Stevenson for the running back and Shepard for the flex. I feel good about Drake London. Stop asking it, Chris. I'm going to put you in timeout. It's been a while since you've been here, but you know we answer your questions. Drake London or Gabe Davis. We keep getting that one. I'm London safer, but Daddy Davis's upside is too much for me. I'm going to go Daddy Davis. Gibson or Jeff Wilson. I'm going to go Gibson, Giuseppe. Game time decision. I don't know what that's about, Danny Jennings, but yes. Dotson, Lazard, A.J. Dillon. I'm going to go A.J. Dillon there for David. Richard B. Crazy start both Waller and Ertz. It's not crazy, but I'd rather have Judy unless he's going to be ruled out. And if you have a gut feeling, Richard, you always got to trust it, as I always say. We said Samuel already. I'm going to just put some repeat people in time out. Doesn't mean you're banned, but I just don't want to keep seeing the same questions as we try to mow through these. Mike Duty, Knox, Hawk, or Irv Smith. I'm going to go Knox there. Good to be back, though, too. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Anything I can do to help the product, it's so appreciated for that super chat, Omar. Thank you. Welcome back, Wolf. Do we trust Gabe? Absolutely. And I'd play him over any of those other guys you list there. A-Rob's the toughest one. I'd play Davis and A-Rob, actually, given those flex options. So, yeah. Need 2 receivers, Metcalf, London, and Garrett Wilson. I'm benching Metcalf zip. Going London and Garrett Wilson. Gaskin's out, so I guess that helps Edmonds a little bit, but, I mean, he wasn't doing anything anyways. Hey, happy Sunday football. What's up, YTJ? Good to see the man back in action. As I said, it's awesome to be back with you guys. As we continue on, that thumbs up as we wrap up these last, I got 5 minutes left in me. 8 minutes to be specific. But as we wrap these up, that thumbs up button, Wolfpack, is so greatly appreciated as we get closer and closer to kickoff here. Good to see you too, Seamus. PPR, start 3. Keenan, Kirk, M. Thomas, Dylan, Curtis Samuel. I'm going to go Mike Thomas, Christian Kirk, and A.J. Dillon very slightly. If it's Herbert and Keenan Allen both, and then you go Keenan over A.J. Dillon. Need wide receiver 2 in flex. Cooks, Bateman, London, Garrett Wilson, Samuel. You're definitely starting. I'm going to go Cooks, and I'm going to go Bateman. Very close between Bateman and London, though, for me. No Taysom Hill vulturing. So, yeah, I agree, Omar. That's actually a good point. Kamara's upside is even better with no vulture for Taysom Hill. Really good point, for sure. Tony Pollard, Lazard, or Dameon Pierce. Lazard. I think he's the last man standing there at this point. Gibson, running back 2, full PPR. Yeah, I go Gibson over those other guys, Justin Reese. Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin. I'm going to go Curtis Samuel actually over Terry, I think, which is nuts. Oh, you're starting both? I'd actually go Ayuk over Terry then. I'm just really worried about Terry with Darius Slay today. Do you believe Njoku's production is going? No, I don't think that's going to be the every week thing, Andres. No, they're so weird with their tight ends. Gibson or Robinson, flex PPR. Gibson very slightly. Pick 2. Brandon Cooks, Keenan Allen, MT, or Gabe Davis. We're not over 20 likes yet. Come on, Facebook. Get it up. I know most of you on YouTube, which I love, but come on, get that up. Pick 2. I just have my appendix out. Come on. I'm going Brandon Cooks. I'm going MT there, T-Dog Crew. Ayuk, Bateman, Robbie Anderson, Stevenson. That's better. That's better tunes, but still not great. I'm going to go Bateman, and I'm going to go Ayuk there. My man, Todd Exotic, great to see you. Josh Jacobs is a complete and utter jerk, isn't he? Dameon Pierce or Josh Jacobs? I'm actually going to go Pierce. I think they blow it up. There we go. Now we're over 20 on Facebook. Like to see it. Morning, fellas. What's going on, Todd? Oh, yeah, you said it again. So Dameon Pierce, I'm going to go him over Jacobs. Start 2 for S. Singh. Drake, Samuel, Juju, or CD? I like Drake the most, and then I'm going to go Samuel just slightly over CD. Sebastian, Dobbins or CD? I'm going CD. I don't trust Dobbins at all today. Burrow or Carr? Burrow, Sebastian. Sinner, Atlanta on defense. Brandy, I don't give a shit. Cincinnati, I guess. 49ers defense or Houston defense? Fuck the fucking defensive questions. I don't know. Figure it fucking out. It's defense.
they're both getting 6 points.
Yeah, exactly. Houston. I'm going to go 49ers there. Michael Carter or Jeff Wilson? I'm going to go Jeff Wilson and Patterson. I'm going to go Jeff Wilson over those guys. Full PPR, Brandon Cooks or Christian Kirk? Christian Kirk for me. That's tough. Wow. Good options. Gibson, Montgomery, Kamara. I'm going to go Kamara. And then Montgomery's not far after him. Nathan Vahey. Can't decide for my running back 2 for normal PPR. Kamara is running back 1, but can't pick between Pollard or Dobbins. You go Pollard. I'm not trusting Dobbins at all. Mike Williams or Samuel? I'm going to go Samuel. I'm worried about this Chargers attack today. I'm worried about injuries. I'm with you. For Herbert or Jimmy G. I mean, you get time to wait it out. So if Herbert plays, I go him over Jimmy G. But like I said at the top, if Goff's there playing at 1, I go Goff and just don't think about either of them. Marquise Brown, Olave, Jerry Jeudy. I'm going to go Marquise Brown. And thank you, Kevin Ohoski. Supports, that thumbs up, and that subscriptions are so greatly appreciated. I'm going to go Knox over Logan Thomas. Very close, though. Val's the GOAT. Darnell Mooney, Jahan Dotson, or Garrett Wilson? Garrett Wilson. I'm going to go for you, Evan. Joe John. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson over Mike Williams and just not deal with that headache later. London or Brandon Cooks? I'm going to go London. I'm going to go Brandon Cooks, but it's very, very close. Thank you. Good luck to you as well, DJ Johnson. All righty. PPR pick 1. Penny, Julio. Ayuk. We don't even know who Julio's going to play. I'm going to go Ayuk of these, but Damian Harris isn't far behind Nug XS. Pick 3. Bateman, Samuel, Thielen, Olave, or Elijah Moore. I'm going to go the first 3: Bateman, Samuel, and Thielen. Do I risk Herbert or play Tannehill? Can you go Goff? I would wait for Herbert and play Mariota over playing Tannehill. There's nothing to be gained.
Tannehill is hideous.
Yeah, he's just complete and utter ass cheeks. Full PPR, Brandon Cooks or Christian Kirk. I'm putting you in timeout, Alex. We've gotten twice, but it's Christian Kirk. Hall or Etienne? Breece Hall. Jamal Williams, Miles Sanders. Too many, Ryan. You got to limit that down. Ask it again.
He's just asking if he needs to drop 2. He just texted me about it. He needs to drop 2 to clear an IR spot and pick up a quarterback.
Fucking limit it. You know what names you're not cutting, so limit it down and ask us again, Hegs. Goff or Tua? I'm going to go Tua, DJ Johnson. C-Pat or J-Rob? I'm going to go J-Rob, Omar. Pick 2. Dotson, Pierce, E. Moore, Mooney, Akers, Burks. I'm going to go not Akers. I don't love any of them. I'm going to go Eli Moore and Damian and Jahan Dotson. Just hope for a couple big bombs here, Jared Brugler. Thomas or Cooks. I'm going to go MT, but that's really close. Goff or Wentz. I had to actually decide that myself, Ravi, and I went Goff. Pick one for flex. Jalen Waddle over those guys, Adrian. Should I start Judy, Pierce, or Pollard? Judy for me. And then I got sorry, I lost my place for a second. I think we're almost all the way through here.
You said, can you just clarify the Garoppolo Herbert thing that you said? Garoppolo's not till nighttime, isn't it? So
yeah, Garoppolo's not till the night, so you can wait it out. If Herbert plays, then you play him. Garoppolo doesn't have that much upside. And so you play Herbert as long as he plays. And then if not, I really prefer Mariota to Garoppolo if he's out there. But if you can play like Goff at 1:00 today over any of those options, I would go Goff, is what I was getting at. How much does Keenan Allen play? I think he plays his normal allotment, Ryan Hegg. So I play in even with Chase Daniels, the best backup ever. I agree. Everett or Pitts? I'm going to definitely go on Pitts there. Super chat from Ryan Thompson. Thank you so much. Lazard or Pierce? Ooh, really close one. I'm going to go Lazard, like last man standing type of stuff here. Gabe Davis or Higgins? I'm going to go T. Higgins there. Glad that made sense for you, Kevin. Drop Pollard, Hines, or Etienne. I would drop Hines of these options. Would be the one I drop, Ryan Higgs. So nice job limiting that fucking essay down to 3 names. That's how we ask our questions, Ryan. You've been here for like 5 years, so I'm glad I was able to answer it for you. I want to always answer our boys' questions there. You need to drop 2. I guess Pollard, but I really don't want, like, there's got to be, that's tough. I would still hang on to Etienne and hope that role continues to evolve, because when he gets the ball, he looks really good. An idiot and sad. Yeah. Sorry to hear it. Hawkinson or Irv Smith, tight end premium. I kind of like Irv Smith. I really do. All righty, Wolfpack. That's it. We made it through it all. Rapid fire got us to 12:40 when we wanted to sign off. It was a doozy of it. I'm glad we made it. But thank you again. So many generous super chats coming in. So many kind words through this tough week of appendix surgery and wedding hangovers. Tough week for us both, huh?
Yeah, it's a rough Sunday.
Exactly. Make sure to check out on your way out that thumbs up button, the subscribe button if you don't already. And our presenting sponsor, No House Advantage, another way to support us is to go check those guys out. A great app, great line. CJay gave his favorite. They're all over on Instagram as well. You can check that. Thanks again so much for your support, Wolfpack. We'll be back live tonight, 7:45 p.m. Best of luck in week 3. In a world full of fancy sheep, be the wolf. Later, guys.
See ya.